Hello and welcome to the Geek Fortress stream where my camera is way off and I didn't realize that until just now. So please forgive me while I correct that. I think I know what the problem is and it should be fixed in just a brief moment. Hold on. And let's see if that improves it. Or am I looking at the wrong camera? There we go. Alright, sorry about that, but hello everybody, it's good to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful time. I am back from San Antonio. I missed this stream. I missed you all. I'm glad to be here, and we've got some Legacy tonight. I believe 4 rounds are going to be kicking off today. It should be a wondrous time working our way through that Legacy scene that we know, we love, and of course we always enjoy. Hello to Glorious Visionary, J.H. Portnoy, to John of the Cool Captain. Good to see you as always. Moontoad Foot, Seraphir, and Glorious Visionary, Jimmy Watt. And I believe Divine Life. And Divine Life. It's good to see you all. I hope that everybody who's watching is having a wonderful day, morning, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. It's Friday or Sunday. And let's make Friday or Saturday, and let's make it a great one, a good one, and an amazing one. But round 1 of Legacy should be kicking off shortly. We're a little bit behind because we're also running a Modern Masters draft. I guess concurrently would be the word. And we're still kind of making that happen. So it should be good, it should be great, and we should be up and running shortly. I've got 2 eyes on the field. It is going to be Dylan and Ryan, both are common players, and going to be having a good time there. Rook, what's good? Everything's good. I can tell you that. I had a marvelous weekend. I'm glad to be back. This weekend's going to be all about catch-up for me. I got a brand new desk at home, which is going to be able to hold even more monitors than I currently have. And the world is a wondrous place filled with wondrous people. You're in Schrodinger's box. Well, that's wonderful. That means you're either here nor there, which means that there's something for you no matter what you want to do. I mean, you know, if you're one of the people who likes to be the introvert and stay inside, hey, you are. And if you're one of the people that likes to go out, hey, you are. And it never knows until you know. You know? We all know. Yeah, that made sense. That made sense. It didn't make any sense, but hey, I worked my way through it. I found my way to a conclusion, and that's just kind of where we're going to stay for now. Now, things in the field. I know that there are some goblins. This week is all about ketchup. Actually, I don't really eat ketchup. Got a standing desk attachment? I did not. I would like to get one eventually, but I do not have one currently. They're kind of spendy. So I might get one for home eventually. Not at the moment. I'm also working on getting a green screen that I can set up behind myself. Divine Life, you just got back from Friday Night Magic. Well, how did you do? I hope you had a marvelous time. Who was the best Magic player in my opinion? The best Magic player, in my opinion. Oh no, I think Marcio's probably killing it right now. It's prone to change, but Marcio's really on fire lately. So, that strikes me as my current pick. He's been lighting it up on the circuit. Plus, he did the mocks as well. It's you? Or you? Maybe. Whoops, my bad. Guess I was wrong. You play like 20 travel decks. That's awesome. That's very cool. I like that. 20 travel decks. How many of them are EDH? Because if there's that many standard, modern, or legacy travel decks, I guess I'd have to think about which ones there are there. What's up, Crimson? It's good to see ya. Way to bring back the meme. I missed it last Friday. I wasn't here last Friday, and hopefully you did it for them. I'm guessing that. Let's see. Who did you have on Friday? Maven Coleman. I'm gonna guess that they answered your question. You went 4-2 with a Metalwork Colossus deck. Very nice. Metalwork Colossus is great, and I'm excited to see what Fling does with that card. Vampires, elves, merfolk, squirrels, robots, goblins. Nice. I can dig that one. Eggy, it's good to see ya. I can also envision like tree folk. I can see werewolves. I can see... Your chili is so good. That's wonderful. I had a burrito for dinner. Let's see what we got. What? I'm gonna guess that you two are playing. Cool. Nope.
Oh, man, it's weird because he was like, hey, do you guys want to play on stream? And I was like, sure. I assume he just told you.
I'll just find out what you guys are on when I go down there.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Let's head on down. We've got a match. Sorry about that. We are a little bit behind. You guys are good. Alright. I'm going to be catching up with this stuff. I wanted to get down on the field as soon as we could, just to make sure that we have this. So don't pay attention to the decks just yet. Dylan has been on Delver a lot lately, so I'm going to say that he's probably on Grixis Delver, and we'll update that as we need. We also do have a Cabal Therapy kicking things off, and I was looking away, so I didn't even take a moment to look in there, but I do see a lot of Dazes in Chris's hand at the moment, so let's see what we've got. Spanish Inquisition versus Belcher? If only. If only. Okay. So Misty Rainforest for Chris to lead things off. I do see a lot of Days in there. The real Arsenal Munch, it's good to see you as always. which makes me want to think that he is also on our Delver strategy. This is actually a different Dylan. Interestingly enough, Glorious Visionary. What's up, Tie-Dye Gamer? It's good to see a Scalding Target coming down for Dylan. It's got 2 mana available. But it looks like one of these players, with all the days, a Wasteland from Chris in his turn, and a Brainstorm from Dylan in response. Looks like he might be predicting some Bug Delver. Okay. I dig it. Let's say that then. Let's say that. So a Brainstorm response from Dylan, possibly. I'm not sure what he would actually have to stop this. He might just be trying to use the blue mana while he has access to it, because now he can use this and then still utilize the fetch land to fetch away the 2 cards that he actually doesn't want. If he had waited, he would have to fire off the blue, but he'd have to shuffle in order to do so. So he's going to lose this blue land, and we might see Dylan end up fetching, unless he wants that for some reason. I can't imagine that he does. And here's the shuffle from Dylan. Chris, in the meantime, is actually just going to go for his own, probably trying to play around Stifle here. I'm not sure if Stifle is in the Grixis Delver deck much, but going for it while Dylan activated that first fetch land just strikes me as a way to go for it when it's kind of safe. And going for a basic while he is able to. Dylan's going to untap, drops down a Polluted Delta, has a Ponder, looking for something. Ponder is usually, you know, all these cantrips are usually something that you cast when you're looking for something, not so much just for value. It's not the same as, like, Serum Visions in the realm of Modern. It's a lot more, these cards are so good at digging that you're usually looking for one card, and actually makes Ponder a little bit better, because the shuffle mode becomes somewhat relevant when there's a particular card that you're looking for. I do think that it's less likely to be Bug Delver. It does. No, he's got a Jace in hand. Alright, what do we think this is then? Possibly. I bet this might be Leovold. I'm gonna say it's True Name Bug. I'm gonna say this is True Name Bug on Chris's side of the battlefield. Sorry, we didn't actually get the chance to ask him. We didn't realize that they were going on camera, and I kind of got it all going at the last moment. So a Deathrite Shaman comes down. Chris with the Verdant Catacombs. There is a 4-color good cards in the field. I don't believe it's Chris, but it is possible that it is him. But we shall see. We do have Jace, Ponder, and a Polluted Delta from Chris. Does have the fetch land available right now. May not need that other one. Depends on how many lands in hand. A lot of Jaces in hand. He's got 3 of them, so I think he's going to pitch 2 of those back. Because who needs 3 Jaces when one of them will win the game? Plus, it does allow him to hold on to the Ponder. It allows him to hold on to the Brainstorm, leaving up a mana here. Possibly. He's also got Days available, but not a whole lot to do with this singular mana here. Can't see anything but Delver running Days. I don't know. Miracles has been doing it occasionally lately. Polluted Delta from Chris. Dylan's still sitting with this Deathrite Shaman, which actually looks pretty nice as well. And actually, this might be Chris's still in his main phase. Could be debating if he wants to cast the Ponder in the main phase without a whole lot else to do this turn. Oh no, that was okay. I passed back from Dylan. A lot of quick draw go happening here. Dylan still setting up, has the Deathrite Shaman. Does not have the black mana available currently. And off of this Ponder, we're seeing Leovold. We are seeing... mostly see the Leovold. Oh, and a Force Will, okay. And it looks like that's the Fatal Push that we want. It's going to take down the Deathrite Shaman right now, while Chris does only have access, or while Dylan only has access to the green mode of it and the mana ability. So we might just see him trying to fight that removal spell. But in the meantime, I think Chris is just going to straight up remove that before any life loss can come of it, because Dylan used the black mana, or really he used the Underground Sea for a Ponder last turn. So firing off a Fatal Push that is going to kill the Deathrite Shaman. Dylan's still holding on to a mana, untaps. When I said that he only had access to the green mode, by the way, that was totally wrong, because he has a tropical island, or not, a volcanic island. There we go. I got on the right page there. My bad. Gurmag Angler coming down. Bog of Wraith, it's good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to delve all of that. We're leaving in the Cabal Therapy, so we can activate that later if we need to. And we've got a 5/5 sitting on the battlefield, applying pressure to Chris. Now, that becomes really bad if Chris just ends up dropping down his 4th land and goes for this Jace, because the minus ability on that Gurmag Angler is going to be phenomenal because it devastated Dylan's graveyard, plus he will not be able to recast it anytime soon. Okay. So, a fetch from Chris. He's going to go for this one. He does have access to the Jace. I mean, normally you see Jace kind of go for the... we also might just see a Leovold come down, but I don't know. The Jace looks really fun. And a Daze coming down on this one. We'll see if Chris wants to get into a Daze fight here. Can Daze this one back, and he's got a backup as well. Dylan only has the one. Let's see if he fires off the second one. Can Dylan fight through this one? He could go for a Force of Will on it, just to make sure this doesn't resolve, and you end up getting 2 lands out of Chris's battlefield and 2 cards out of his hand, and that is strikingly close to a blowout. Chris down to 2 lands. Okay. I tend to put the commentators on there for the last names because we're much more knowing and able to consent to it than the players. So, a Delver of Secrets coming down, but I am fully aware of what I'm doing when I'm putting my name on there. And, yeah. It is a 3-for-3, but losing the Jace, losing all the Dazes, it lines up pretty well. I think Dylan still came out pretty well ahead in that particular situation, especially because he had the Gurmag Angler on the table to begin with. So keeping Chris's board empty while you get to retain that Gurmag Angler is pretty close to what you're looking for. Able to put down that Delver of Secrets to also continue applying pressure. We've got Chris down to 9 and a True Name Nemesis standing guard in front of this Gurmag Angler, probably naming Dylan. 3 mana for Chris because he does have some of those in hand. Fires off the Brainstorm. Could be looking for a way to answer that Delver of Secrets. The Gurmag Angler is fairly tied up at this point. The Jace is still a few lands away from being able to cast it, but it's not too bad. Mostly he's got a lot of redundant lands in hand. We might end up seeing him drop a land and go for the Leovold this turn if he wants to. It does, put another 3/3 onto the battlefield. You are going to be falling down to 5 from this Delver of Secrets. So if Dylan has got anything in the realm of Bolt, but remember that Chris does have, I believe, a spell, or Force of Will, as well as a Daze in hand right now. The Daze lost a lot of relevance, and it's mostly just existing as something to help cast the Force of Will, which means that Chris actually might be falling a little bit more, potentially down to 4 if he needs to end up deploying that. But if it's being used to stop something that would drop him lower, something like a Lightning Bolt in that sense, might not be too bad. He also does get to draw a card now that this Leovold is on the battlefield. Also stops Dylan from firing off a good number of spells in response. And it looks like we actually do have a Dismembered. So we're going to draw a card. We drew another Force Will. Might feel safe enough to fire off one of these to make sure that his Leovold stays alive. Dylan fell down to 13 for it. And it looks like that's actually his intent, so he's going to go down to 7 to keep this Dismember off the battlefield. It strikes me as a little bit odd. I feel like but you're going to be taking damage from the Insectile Aberration anyway. Also, the clock remains the same, so I guess you're just digging for anything at this point. The Jace is a really solid option here. The big thing that I feel like is lost is that without another blue card now, this Force of Will is not live. So if you would let that die, you'd be able to deploy this one and fight this one, fight the Force of Will from Dylan, but now Chris is functionally dead in the water with only a Force of Will in hand, so this might be the end of the game. Dylan is likely going to take this one, using that Force of Will to continue the pressure up. The Jace would have been able to get rid of the Delver of Secrets for the time being. With a Wasteland and a Force of Will, that spells Game 2. Dylan's going to take Game 1 and let's move forward. Yeah, I think the Force of Will and the Dismember is the main play that I would find somewhat questionable. It strikes me as pseudo-relevant, but if you can get someone to spend a card that you get to draw a card and spend 4 life to remove a card that wasn't relevant on the battlefield in that particular instance, I don't know. That feels okay to me. I feel like I would have been okay to come out ahead with a 3-mana cantrip, get rid of a card, and have them pay 4 life. And then I still would have had the days in hand to exile to my Force of Will to protect that Jace and be able to buy myself more time, which the Leovold wasn't doing. But that's what happens, and you live and you learn. I'm sure Chris will remember that. So we've got the sideboard happening here, and Chris is going to be on the play in Game 2. Maybe he was just going... Yes, he did have the Jace in hand at that point. He ended up drawing, I believe, a polluted... No, he had a Force of Will. He drew a Force of Will off of the draw from Leovold, and then drew into a Wasteland as his draw for the turn, which was not enough. So, I'm curious to see what we end up with here. Chris is going to be on the play. That's going to end up being actually pretty helpful, especially in a matchup like this. We'll see. The Dazes actually are pretty solid at that point as well. The Nile Spellbomb I like because the amount of delving that Dylan has showed himself to be doing. We could see him bring in... I don't know if this deck runs him to Turok, but that might be kind of cool. In a deck that runs so few... it can operate on a pretty few lands, though. I might like that a little bit more against a deck that relies on particular cards in hand more. TJ on the solo tonight. TJ's on the solo tonight. Okay. Is that table mat ruined? I wouldn't say that it's ruined, but we're actually designing a new one at the moment. So... I'm hopeful to see when and what that will be, but I'm excited about that. Let's see, I'm pretty sure this is True Name Bug from Chris's side of the battlefield. Oh, do you mean the mark that's up by the dice? That is where I put some tape down and then used a Sharpie to mark X's for the dice and then put a piece of tape on front of it, over the top of it, and it's just curling up a little bit and I haven't had the time to replace it. It's been a fairly hectic week trying to catch up from my weekend away, but I should probably do that. So thank you for pointing that out to me. What's up, Coleman? It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us in the chat. And Chris resetting the life totals like a nice guy, even giving Dylan a nice little 8 life here. Do I ever play Legacy or mostly Modern? I used to play Legacy, and I don't play it now, not out of a lack of wanting to, but more out of just, I would play Legacy here, and instead I do the commentary for it. So, I might start playing it on stream a little bit more. The big problem there is that playing Legacy without blue in your deck is kind of self-defeating, and while it's fun, it's certainly less fun than winning. Which is what you do when you have, blue cards in your deck. Not to say that cards without blue are good, but... or are bad, I mean. But you certainly have a particular advantage. That's reasonable, Slow Hints. Neither he plays Burn. Wrecked. You got me. Death and Taxes is solid. I mean, I don't mean anything against all of, all the other strategies. And I would enjoy them. But I don't have them. The only one that I have access to in Legacy at the moment is Burn, which I do absolutely love, and I do love playing Burn, but at the same time, it's significantly less entertaining from a visual perspective of watching of watching someone play Legacy, there were, like, Legacy Burn has significantly fewer choices than any other version of Burn that functionally exists. Just because the deck is so tuned and so straightforward and has access to the pieces that it does, that it doesn't need the same level of diversity and choice making that you see in Modern or even in like previous Standard iterations and in before all the jokes saying, you know, what deck choices, blah 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 blah. But whatever. Watching Legacy is a lot more interesting when it's a brew or it's a blue deck, and I have neither at the moment. So if I gain access to one of those, which I may, or if I end up with like a brew that I want to do in Legacy, then it becomes significantly more likely for me to play that format on stream as opposed to in my free time. Okay. I mean, that's true. Burn did win 2 out of the last 3 1Ks at Card Kingdom. Because Burn is great. That doesn't make it the most entertaining to watch. Like, any deck that I play is generally from the perception of I'm trying to entertain. That's the only time that I actually play Magic, is when I'm streaming. So, my deck choices are partially out of my own fun and partially off of what I think I can be the most entertaining with. So Chris, with a Tropical Island, drops down into a Noble Hierarch. Scouting turn followed up by Dylan, no action yet. Chris, possibly contemplating the old attack for 1, does that, drops this down. He's got access to a Brainstorm with a fetch currently, and he's looks to be doing this maybe towards the end step at the moment. But the attack for 1 does knock Dylan down to 19. Hasn't cracked this Scalding Tarn just yet. Thoughts on Legacy Merfolk? Deck is sweet. Deck is sweet. Okay. So I'm not sure what we've got from Dylan. He does have a polluted Delta. We might see him fire off this young Pyromancer. If you can get this online with any number of days, or unlikely to have days in this post board here, but it looks like he would rather go for the Brainstorm at the moment. We might see him fire off this young Pyromancer when he's got access to 3 mana and can utilize potentially the Spell Pierce or Lightning Bolt or Brainstorm Ponder, anything like that. What's up, Time Knight? Good to see you. So let's see what we put back from Dylan here. He's got a lot of 1-mana spells, and that actually works really well with his young Pyromancer. He also does have, I believe, a 3rd land in there. May choose to keep that one. He's also got a Cabal Therapy, which combines really nicely with that young Pyromancer, but it looks like he actually might be putting that one away. I think I might see a Deathrite in that hand as well. If he wants to drop that down this turn, it A, gets in the way of that Noble Hierarch, which isn't actually applying that much pressure, but the Lightning Bolt might be a pick. I mean, I'll never say I agree with that, but it might be the right call now. Might be getting rid of a Brainstorm and 1 other card. Throne of the God Pharaoh is probably an independent, stronger card in Elves than Cloudstone Curio. I'm hopeful for Elves over any other tribal deck, because most of the other ones, it's only good when they're attacking with huge number of creatures, in which case means that they're likely winning. With Elves, it's more tap all these Elves with Heritage Druid, pass it, hope that kills you. I'm curious to see how it works out. Lightning Bolt coming down, we're going to point it at this Noble Hierarch. Chris fires off a Brainstorm in response. Dylan now tapped out, so Chris might be able to answer this with anything that he may have. We saw a lot of Dazes earlier, none in hand at the moment. Another Brainstorm available, but overall Chris's hand not very conducive to stopping this Noble Hierarch from dying. And honestly, I'm not sure if that's entirely his game plan. I think I might see it. I think that might be a Tarmogoyf in his hand, in which case letting this die just to drop down a decently sized Tarmogoyf, which would be at minimum a 3/4, is not too bad. It also does survive those Lightning Bolts that Dylan is packing. But we're going to put those 2 on top, and I don't think that Chris has got a whole lot that he wants to do here. We might end up losing this Noble Hierarch. So Chris going to fetch before he draws, going down to 19. Does not want to draw those cards that he put back. 3 out of 4? I mean, Burn's great. Burn is great. I like Burn. Burn's fun. I don't play it enough to be as good with it as the individual that won the... or the individuals that won the Card Kingdom events. Because I guess play strategy and sideboarding choices do matter with the deck. So we'll see. Maybe I'll start playing it on stream if there's enough people demanding it. True Name Nemesis, the draw for Chris. Now he does have a little bit of an option. He could go for the Tarmogoyf and also a Wasteland, which I kind of like, but we could also just resolve the True Name Nemesis while the shields are down. Dylan is tapped out at the moment. It might be a fine time, and it looks like he's actually prioritizing taking out the red mana, dropping in a big threat, and just getting the clock going. The True Name Nemesis would give Dylan an open opportunity. Now, Dylan does still have access to, I believe, the Young Pyromancer in hand. We might see him play that and try and flood the board just to get around this, but it looks like actually a Cabal oh no, Deathray Shaman. Not the Cabal Therapy. So the Deathray Shaman is the cast here, and if Chris has got the third land in hand, which I believe he does in that Polluted Delta, we might see him just drop in this True Name Nemesis. He'll have a True Name, a Tarmogoyf, and a Jace in hand with a Brainstorm to back it all up. Not a whole lot to do otherwise at the moment. He could just attack and pass the turn holding up the Brainstorm if he doesn't want to fire off either of these threats. He does have a solid one on the battlefield at the moment, and he might just decide that that is enough. So it looks like we are going to Brainstorm pre-combat here. Fighting a Noble Hierarch does mean that it might end up being fairly useful, along with a Fatal Push. So we could end up dropping in a Noble Hierarch to allow us to attack for 4. Now, it's not super relevant, and in fact it might be worth it to just play it post-combat because the Exalted may not matter a ton, but by casting the Fatal Push first, it isn't going to be blocked, though Chris holding onto this Noble Hierarch in hand at the moment, not going for the extra damage out of this. That is going to knock him down to 16, and he's holding that up in hand, keeping the fetch available. Why not play True Name Nemesis? Because anything that Dylan plays at this point to answer the Tarmogoyf likely also answers a True Name Nemesis. So if Dylan is running anything like a Toxic Deluge, which strikes me as odd, but interesting, most of the stuff that Dylan may have to answer this, I imagine also answers the Tarmogoyf, or the True Name. So Chris may just be deciding to go with a mentality that the single Tarmogoyf is enough pressure at the moment to force Dylan to respond. And if you make it to where each response that Dylan has to individually answer the Tarmogoyf, then the True Name Nemesis, then the Jace, as opposed to giving Dylan the option of using one card to defeat a larger swath of your threats, Fatal Push is solid. Coleman, I'm trying to think of some cards like Lightning Bolt, doesn't really hit either, but I know of Fatal Push's existence. He hasn't cast it yet, which, if he hasn't killed the Tarmogoyf yet, I think it's reasonable to presume that it's not in Dylan's hand currently. But I'm speculating as to why he didn't. But it looks like he has decided to fire off that other True Name Nemesis, and I believe it's because he's got actually a second one in hand. So I think we have a True Name Nemesis and a Jace in hand for Chris. So any spells live, lands are live because they allow him to cast a Jace. Chris is in a pretty excellent position. To be named, it's good to see ya. Happy True Name. And it looks like we're actually going to counter this one. Pyroblast coming on. 210! Thank you so much, Morden. I appreciate the 210 donation. You're great and amazing, and that is so, so kind of you. Thank you for helping this stream do what it does. It's truly incredible to have your support. Young Pyromancer coming down. It's going to be the Chump Blocker Supreme. Chris, already having used that Fatal Push, may not have an answer to it at the moment. Drew into a fetch land. Now has a Noble Hierarch and a True Name Nemesis, so no longer has access to that Jace. May have actually shuffled it away, and I was wrong there. You haven't been free for a while. I know that feeling. Hey, I love it too. I love it too. So dropping in the Noble Hierarch, it's not going to be if it means an extra damage if Dylan doesn't have an instant or sorcery, which it looks like it does. He's going to fall down to 6 for that. What's up, Xeris? Long time no see. You know, if you want to know when I'm streaming, you can always follow me at Red Baron MTG on Twitter. I'll let you know. It's also a good place to come interact with me. Just tossing it out, doing a little bit of a self-plug there. I'll let you know when I'm streaming here and when I'm streaming at home. Plus, I'll just post a bunch of pictures of whenever I'm traveling, which is kind of fun. We are going to see a Forcible try to take down that tree named Nemesis. He's going to get a 1/1 creature. Nice job on Dylan being patient, not firing this off at the Noble Hierarch when you do have time to do so. Being patient and taking down that tree named Nemesis might give Dylan a potential edge because these 1/1 tokens can jump block so effectively against the Tarmogoyf. Now Dylan needs to find a way to answer the Tarmogoyf, but he's bought himself some time, and then find a way to win. But with Chris in top deck mode, his odds have increased, and actually, Dylan getting aggressive, possibly signaling that he's either got an answer in hand. And it looks like that may a brainstorm with the attack using these dinosaurs as the 1/1 elementals. We're down to 14 here. Woo! Nicely done, Captain. And that is a lightning bolt, not enough against this 4/5. But we're going to take down the Noble Hierarch. Wasteland the land. It keeps a Jace ineffective. Now that we have all those, Adorable, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. That is a fun name, and the confetti is exciting. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you hitting that follow button. Welcome to the Geek Fortress stream. If you ever do have any questions, comments, or feedback, feel free to toss it into that chat. I do like interacting with all of you. It's why it's on display. A chip block from Dylan to take down that 1/1. A little bit interesting, because if he had actually not attacked with that and kept it back, we might have seen Dylan, while he can only attack with 3 of those ones, you get the same effect of what's coming in, but then the young Pyromancer itself doesn't get in damage. So right now you're taking 4. The other way you have only taken 2. So I actually could see a world in which keeping back the Tarmogoyf may have been the play. But a Wasteland comes down, takes out one of these underground seas, and we do see an attack for 3 and a Deathrat Shaman. Join the battlefield. We're down to 11. Untapping here, and it looks like we're going to get aggressive again, taking down one of those 1/1s. Dylan untapping, still got a lot of pressure. 4 damage, 5 if he wants to just activate this Deathrat Shaman. But if Dylan's got ways to use this mana, and it looks like he does, or at least wants to look like he does, he's going to go for a Cabal Therapy. This makes a 1/1. He's going to name. He's also going to get to take a look at what is in the hand and take it out if he wants to. The spoilers look fantastic so far. So we did miss. We've got 2 lands in hand. A Wasteland takes down the red-blue land that Dylan has access to at the moment. Still does have the ability with this Deathrat Shaman to still activate it. Possibly should have actually gone for the blue source there because it keeps the Deathrat Shaman active. But then again, the Deathrat Shaman taps for any color. So a Lightning Bolt was still alive with the Deathrat Shaman. And if you take out the black source, it means that he may not be able to go for the drain mode on the Deathrat Shaman. So I think I may have taken out the Underground Sea a little bit more there, but I'm not sure how much it will matter. Taking a look at what is in the graveyard at the moment to see if he wants to get aggressive. With only 1 card in hand, I believe he's aware of it. We're going to drain for 2 to knock him down to 5. Pass it back. An Abrupt Decay for Chris is the draw. He could try and take down the Deathrat Shaman, which may be the right play, and it signals that he may end up going down to 1 if Dylan decides to attack all out next turn, however. But he can Abrupt Decay the Deathrat Shaman. He could also try and take down the young Pyromancer, but that leaves the Deathrat Shaman willing to prey on him. Yes, these are red elemental dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are great. Take it down, pass it back, leave up the Tarmogoyf as a blocker. Chris may be a little, closer to maybe 6 or 7 if he had been keeping this back a little bit earlier, but I'm not sure how much that will last. A Brainstorm from him is going to reveal a Jace, an Abrupt Decay, and a True Name Nemesis. If there are cards that are going to get him out of here, these might be some of them. The Abrupt Decay and the True Name Nemesis look really nice together. The nice part is that you can also still cast this Abrupt Decay within the same turn. Take that one down, untap, and play the True Name Nemesis potentially. Which strikes me as being pretty effective at the moment. So we're going to pass this back, I believe. I actually kind of like firing this off now. That way if Dylan ends up drawing into, even if, a counterspell that doesn't actually hit it, and he, This is aggressive. Dylan may be falling to 1 here. I believe he was at 5 before. If there aren't any more... And it looks like he is willing to block one at the moment. What's up, the gaming... what's up, the gaming dad? The daddy? What's up, gaming daddy? Delver of Secrets coming down. Chris does have the true name Nemesis available to him. Needs this Delver of Secrets to not transform. We might say attack in here. He's at 4. Chris might take this game back. Because Dylan can no longer attack with the Delver of Secrets if it flips. He's going to cast this one. Chris takes it. Nicely done, Chris. Coming back from the brink with a couple of timely abrupt decays on that Deathrite Shaman and on the young Pyromancer. Uses that Tarmogoyf to hold off the wall of 1/1 elemental tokens, and he gets himself into a game 3 using that true name Nemesis. Dylan just running out of gas, not able to keep up the supply of those 1/1s. That was close. It was down to the wire. But with only a 1/1 and almost everything relegated to chump blocking duty, it was a rough spot to be in, especially with the Jace on top. Of course, whether or not that was known is debatable, but that's okay. Well, not too debatable. I guess the answer is no. So I believe the timer is at about 7.5 minutes. So this is going to have to be either a particularly fast game or my timer's off, and I'm going to double check. Just checking the timer.
16.5.
Okay, cool. Mine was way off.
Okay.
Thank you. I started my timer way early. Oh, that's why. Because someone who was using this one set it to a different time, so it was on 40 minutes instead of 50. So it's actually 16 minutes, not 6 minutes. We've got an extra 10 minutes at the moment. When I say someone, I probably mean me, by the way. Just to clear that one up. The dino went extinct again. No! Oh no. What's up, Walnuts? It's good to see you. Hello to everybody who's out there. If you're watching this stream, feel free to say hi. Hello to all of you. I hope that your day is going amazingly. There's just over 100 of you, and wherever you are, I do want to say thank you so much for joining. My name's TJ. This is the Geek Fortress stream, and if you are brand new, be sure to hit that follow button, and definitely just take a moment to say hi in chat. I would love to be able to see your name, say hello, welcome you to this stream, which has become such a significant part of my life. And I would love to welcome you to it. It's incredible having you here. So a Deathrite Shaman kicking things off. Bites in flight. Hello to ya. Deathrite Shaman coming in from Dylan off of an Underground Sea from that Scalding Tarn. Going to be falling down to 19 for it. Chris got his own duel, but not going to have to pay the life for it. Hello to Melvin. It is good to see you as always. I hope that things are good and that the plan is coming along nicely. Pan, much love to you as well. Hello. I hope your day is amazing. So, a Wasteland taking down Chris's only land available at the moment. He did get a Deathrite Shaman out of the deal, but Dylan having his own Deathrite Shaman means that he's got a little bit of ways to fight over it, especially with this second one. Skippy, hello, how are you? I hope you are having a beautiful, beautiful day. That is an excited face that you're putting on, and I hope that that face is truly genuine. A couple of Deathrite Shamans joining the battlefield for Dylan. He's got access to 3 mana and only 1 land. Make that 2 mana and only 1 land. Chris can activate this one at the moment. Already did play a land, so we'll see what he does. I think using the Wasteland may have disrupted his game plan of actually playing a land this turn. Wonderful, Melvin. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So we'll see what we can get, but it might just be a pass back for the time being. Nope, we've got a Ponder. So, a Ponder firing off. We're going to take a look at the top 3. Land, True Name Nemesis. This feels like a shuffle to me. Is the plural of shaman shaman? Shaman. I think it's just shamans. Or shaman, if you are one of the people who pronounce it that way. Could be shaman or shamans, I believe. I don't know. I have met a shaman, however. Very cool guy. Really enjoyed talking to him. Actually, I've met a couple. That's kind of cool. So Dylan going to be dropping in another land. Both of these players operating on 0 land at the start of this turn. Deathrite Shamans on both sides, as well as an Insectile Aberration. I don't think it goes from Shaman to Shaman. But an Underground Sea coming down for Dylan, still accessing lots and lots and lots of land available. He does also have 3 damage. We're going to Cabal Therapy. Doesn't look like we hit anything. I do believe I saw a Ponder, a True Name, and a lot of land. Among them, a Wasteland. But otherwise, we've got Basic Island, 2 Polluted Deltas, Wasteland, Island, 2 Polluted Deltas, a True Name Nemesis, and a Ponder. In the meantime, he's going to take 3, fall down to 17. So while he may be looking okay on the life total, the board state does not like Chris's position in this game so far. He's outnumbered as far as creatures. He's outnumbered even in the same exact creature. And he is losing on the land race and the mana race. While Dylan has got a 3-2 in the air, Chris needs to develop something pretty quickly. That Daze does not do much at this stage in the game. Putting another land back into your hand is not really what you want to be doing at this point, when some of the cards that are going to get you back into this are True Name Nemesis. Jace may not even be enough at this point unless he's going to hit that. I don't know. It's going to be tricky. It is going to be tricky. Taking a look at another Ponder, and we're going to go for the Shuffle. Shuffle mode, always the best mode. Probably looking for a 1-mana spell to do. Maybe a Fatal Push is the ideal card to get here and just try and take down that Insectile Aberration. An Abrupt Decay isn't bad, however. He did play a Basic Island, so it is going to take another land next turn to be able to set that up, and he'll have to use his Deathrite Shaman and that other land, and only have access to a blue mana after that if he wants to utilize that Abrupt Decay. What's up, Apprentice of Bolas? How are you? Welcome to the stream. We're going to be down to 12 on Chris's side of the battlefield. The Insectile Aberration getting in for another 3. Dylan fetches down to 17. Setting up yet more mana. If he ends up going for a Black Source, it could be somewhat an indicator of intending to use these Deathrite Shamans, because he could actually activate them. Well, actually, looks like that's not the case. He's going for a blue-red land, making sure that he's got the red lands on lock. And he is going to end up eating one of them to put Chris down to 10. I believe. Oh no, okay, we're just gonna kill one of them. That too. So sacrifice one of those to flashback the Cabal Therapy to take a look in the hand. Did not find what we were looking for. If we've got another one in hand, that might somewhat examine this one. I don't believe that he wanted it to be covered up. I believe that's just the tattoo that he wanted. I believe that is just the one that he wanted. So, Delver of Secrets coming down to the battlefield for Dylan. It's going to be another flying threat. We do have that Abrupt Decay and a Fatal Push, the draw for Chris here. He does not have the ability to play both of them this turn. We might see him prioritize the Fatal Push at the moment, knowing that Dylan is a little bit lower in cards. Fights over a land. Dylan decides to fight over it before, and we'll see if Chris may even try moving to another phase to make sure that Dylan doesn't have access to that man at the moment. But I think Chris might be going for a Fatal Push at the moment on the Insectile Aberration, and then we might see him utilize the Abrupt Decay later, because then Dylan, as he continues to draw more cards and also have access to mana, can end up utilizing that one. Also just answers more cards in general. So we're actually going to take down the Deathrite Shaman as the card that we are worried about on this battlefield. Chris down to 11 after the fetch. We're going to reveal a Lightning Bolt. This means that Chris is functionally at 5? 3. No, 2. He's functionally at 2. But the Lightning Bolt going to take down the Death Threat Shaman instead. Chris does have a daze, but that is not enough. So Chris is down to 5 with 2 Insectile Aberrations on the field. An Abrupt Decay that he can only cast while leaving up a basic island. And in a lot of trouble. Another fetch from Chris means that we are intending to take down the 1. We're likely going to fall down to 1 with the intent of taking down the Insectile Aberration. But at this point, we are pretty close to out of options. And it looks like that is the case right now. Can he put something together? Or will Dylan just draw a bolt? Nope, he's going to swing for 3. A Gurmag Angler coming down. But things are looking bad. If he's able to draw 2 cards, he could get a Noble Hierarch and something else. But Chris just doesn't have enough. Dylan's going to take this game in 3. Insectile Aberration did exactly what it does in Legacy. It transformed early, and it dominated the game by just surviving and doing very little else, actually. Just surviving was enough. Most of the damage done throughout that game was from a singular Insectile Aberration, dealing 3 damage, chipping away at that life total from Chris, who ended up only dealing a pretty minimal amount of damage to himself through cards like the fetch lands. So Dylan takes down that game, and Chris, falling behind on lands so early, ended up being substantially backbreaking when he was never able to take down the game, was never able to get even into the realm of casting a True Name Nemesis, of Leovold, of Jace. Those large threats, Chris just never caught up to where Dylan was progressing his board. The bigger fish wins, indeed it does. But let's head on up to the booth and get ready for round 2. I will see you all up there. Transition. Hello and thank you for joining. My name's TJ. This is the Geek Fortress stream where we stream 3 times a week. We've got Modern and Legacy at the moment. Modern every Wednesday at 7 and Saturday at 6, plus just like tonight, and every Friday night we've got Legacy here at 7:30. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being here. It is a pleasure to have you here. Okay. Man, what a day it's going to be. What a day it's going to be, what a world that it is, and what a place in time to be alive. When Legacy is thriving, well, thriving medium thriving, it's doing a lot better than people expect it to be, and it's certainly not the dead that people tell it that it is. Plus, you have got, of course, just all the magic happening. Amonkhet coming down. Spoiler season is always exciting. There are some fun cards coming down the pipeline. Some of them people have talked about for Legacy in small numbers. I haven't seen anything that's really sweeping the nation, so to speak. To be named, it's good to have you back. Thank you so much for joining us here. Okay. You gotta head off, work early in the morning, you'll catch us tomorrow. That's wonderful, I hope you have a great time, and I look forward to seeing you the next morning. Thank you for being here, and thanks for joining in. Okay. And yeah, Chris's tattoo is certainly unique, but I could not say if it has any major significance to him. I haven't spoken to him about that particular piece to any great length. Moon Toad Foot. Okay. And wow. Todd, thank you so much for the host. 435 of you, welcome to the Geek Fortress stream. My name's TJ. We do this 3 times a week. We've got some Legacy tonight, so hold on to your hats. Keep whatever you've got where it is. Don't touch that dial if you're somehow watching this on TV. And of course, just keep on doing what you're doing because you're great just the way that you are. We've got more action coming at your way. We've got 3 minutes left in round 1. We just watched True Name Bug be defeated by Grixis Delver, and we are getting ready for round 2 of 4. So stick around, have some fun, and if you haven't yet, be sure to hit that follow button. Crisp like Dylan, thank you so much for the sub. That is awesome of you and amazing, and absolutely crisp, just like the Dylan that just one and crisp like the Dylan that just runs the shop. It's awesome having you here. Thank you for your support. Let's see what we've got. Hi, Todd and Todd Heights. Yes, what a great name. Thoughts on Bug Alluren? You just got a couple of Leovolds in the mail and want to try it out. I think Alluren for a long time was one of the most underplayed Legacy decks, largely because of its cost. The fact that it is now reasonable to actually play and afford. Blastoderm Man, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. I think that the deck is great, and I look forward to seeing its performance in the future. Has anyone ever noticed the more people who watch, the more hyper and fast TJ becomes? That is probably true, and realistically, it is because of I am very much someone who reflects the who I am interacting with. That's what I do. I change how I interact with people depending on the situation. And when there's more people, I get more excited. That's just the fact of the matter. How was San Antonio? My Twitter was blowing up. Indeed, it was. I had a wonderful time. I got to hang out with some incredible people, and I got to meet some awesome people, including some people that I very much look up to, both in the world of Magic and in the world of commentary of Magic. Exciting weekend, great weekend, good food, good times, all around. Played medium to bad, but that's okay. I had such a fun time. McKagan, I'm going to assume that that's how I pronounce it. If not, replace it in your mind with what I should have said. Thank you so much for the follow. Magic keeps stealing all of your monies. That does happen. But you know what? It always does seem to turn out okay. Sora155, thank you so much for joining. It's a pleasure to have you here. Big numbers, big energy, big flails. That's the way that it goes. So stick around. We've got another round coming your way. But if you are just joining for the first time, welcome to the Geek Fortress stream. It's a pleasure having you here. We do Modern on Wednesdays and Saturdays. We do Legacy every Friday, and I will be here for just about all of them. We also do have co-hosts generally, but they're not here tonight. But that's okay because I can work my way through this in the solo stream range. So should be a fun time. We've got 3 more rounds of that Legacy action coming at you. And if you are joining for the first time, feel free to say hi in the chat. I'd love to say hi to you. I'd love to welcome you and all that kind of stuff, because this stream is something that I very much put myself into, and it matters to me, right? What's up, Todd, with the sub? Thank you so much. Sup with you. How did the Green White Value Town go tonight? Thank you for your support. As always, Todd, it was a genuine and true pleasure getting to see you in San Antonio, and I can't wait for the next time that we get together. But thank you for your continued support of this stream. It has been a treat getting to know you over the course of the last many months since you started streaming and since you started watching the stream, and the interactions since. That's true. The co-host tonight is the Round Timer, which is coming up towards the end. If I had Skype there, I could have a Muppet right now. We do have Skype. The problem is that we have a computer that is currently running at about 95% of its CPU to 100%. We're acquiring another computer. We're waiting to basically see if we can do it through an auction. EB Wonder, thank you so much for the follow. We're going to try and get about a $700 computer for at or around $100 to $150 if we can manage it. And we can essentially just hugely increase what we can do with this stream, and then we'll be looking at a variety of upgrades. But we're trying to use what we have in the most efficient way possible. We've had a long time of operating on almost nothing, and we'd like to continue the ability to be somewhat frugal and somewhat hyper efficient with what resources that we have, because we have so few. But if you do want to help support this stream and what it does and some of the ideas that we have coming down the pipeline, because the less we spend on that stuff, the more we can spend on some ideas that we have coming down the pipeline. Feel free to hit that subscribe button and join us more in the future. That is the intent, John of the Cool. We are looking at having a variety of people, and I've talked to a good number of some people that I'm excited to have as potential co-hosts in the future. Todd with the support. Indeed. Todd with the support. You gotta love that support. That wasn't me, but it wasn't anyone else. Dance is not great. I'll have you know I dance very great. What a terrible sentence. very great. Ugh, I'm disappointed in myself for that. But you know what? The truth is the truth. A dance very great. So, let's get this set for round 2 as we get ready for that one. I should have either Dylan or Ryan giving me an update on what we'll be having. Did I break the chair? No. I know, man. There's a storm outside, and apparently it moved in and took over the table for just a brief moment. Bacon or smoothie? Oh man, probably smoothie. Smoothies are great. I would do a smoothie. Bacon's delicious though. I do really enjoy bacon, but I think that if I had to just eat one right now, I would take a smoothie. And in most situations, I think I would. It's a much more wholesome food, especially if you get a good one. All right. In Geek Fortress, can I dance with you? Indeed it does. Man, that was awful. Smoothie for the win? Indeed. Bacon every time? I disagree heavily. Bacon is incredible. Bacon is delicious. I have no arguments with what bacon is and how it be. But bacon is something which is phenomenal and I think operates very similarly to almost like black pepper in my mind. Bacon is something that is a phenomenal addition to something which is already complete, in my mind. Now, this may not be accurate for the grand numbers, and of course bacon has been wildly overhyped by our particular country. BL Royal, thank you so much for hitting that follow button, but I think that bacon is something that cannot harm a dish, but I don't think can operate on its own as a singular one, even if that is delicious. I think that it goes much better when you combine it with something which is already complete and fine. A smoothie, on the other hand, operates on its own independently, if you're going to compare the two face to face. So it's very apples and oranges, and they're not even both fruit. So it's like smoothies and bacon, really. But a bacon smoothie sounds gross? Yes, it does. Hi there, Coleman.
Hi!
How's it going?
Doing pretty good.
Ooh, we've got the double feature.
The double feature. The double bug feature.
He didn't have enough, huh?
I didn't make this decision.
Sure.
So what are we talking about smoothies for?
Bacon or smoothies?
Oh, smoothies, no doubt.
Done. Coleman agrees too.
No doubt. Obviously smoothie.
So my argument is that bacon is a phenomenal addition to an already complete meal. But
Yeah.
smoothies stand alone.
Also, like, how do you get smoothies if you don't have smoothies?
Fact. Is that correct?
You drink like a smoothie.
Okay.
You're gonna need to change that picture though.
I will. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
No problem.
So Dylan apparently getting the double feature. He's going to step right back up to the plate with this Grixis Delver. But can he step up well enough to face down the value deck of value decks? The man with the foils himself, the foil marauder, the foil fiend, I gotta come up with the Franz Ferdinand of foil? No, that's a bad way to go about that because that would imply that he would end up losing this match. I'll come up with something. But hey, let's head on down where we are going to see Peter on Shardless Bug go face-to-face with Dylan on Grixis Delver, the man who we just saw take down True Name Bug. Can he keep the line a-moving, or is Peter going to be the gatekeeper of the feature camera? We'll see you down there. Let's head on. Down. Man, I used the word down too much there. Lesson learned. And a Gitaxian Probe is apparently already cast, so he's taking a look at what Peter led off with. Just a basic swamp. We do see Tarmogoyf, Hymn to Turok, Force of Will, and a Baleful Strix along with a land. We could be looking at a turn 2 Hymn to Turok. We also do have a Force of Will with that Baleful Strix to back it up. The Prince of Premium finishes. Oh, that is a good one. The Sultan of Shine. Woo! Woo! That is lovely. A Cabal Therapy coming down. We'll see what he ends up trying to take down. I think he needs to capitalize on taking down one of these turn 2 plays at the moment. The Foil Phenom. That's the one. You win. Modern Robots, you take it down. Nicely done. The Foil Phenom. I absolutely love it. Not to say, by the way, that Walnuts Magoo wasn't nailing it. Just saying. But the Foil Phenom is perfect. Whew. Though, Sultan of Shine is pretty great too. Ugh, man. I don't know. The Prince of Premium cards, the Sultan of Shine, the Foil Phenom. Why not all three? Let's give him all three. Let's give him all three. So Peter is going to go with the fetch from this Verdant Catacombs. Does still have access to this Hymn to Turok. We'll see if Dylan has got an answer in hand to be able to slow this one down. If he's got, say, a Daze in hand, that's going to look like a great way to stop it. Though, Peter does have access to that Force of Will to potentially back it up. However, he did lose the Baleful Strix. We'll see if Dylan goes for the Daze, and maybe the intent was to take down the Baleful Strix, which means that Peter cannot follow it up with exiling a blue card to that Force of Will. Peter didn't draw one, and it worked out perfectly. The King of Bling! Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. We've got a Deathrite Shaman coming down for Dylan. Dylan doesn't suck. Indeed. Indeed. I actually just fixed that, Marduk. That was accidental that I even included it. That was my bad. So, an Abrupt Decay takes on down the Deathrite Shaman, keeping it clear off the field before it's able to activate. Peter taking on the role of the control deck, not dropping in this Tarmogoyf, but keeping the answers high, especially if he can get out this Liliana. It is going to start taking over the game. What keyboard are we using? A particularly clickety-clackety one. I bet you could notice. Apologies for that, but it's what we got. It is the Razer Black Widow Ultimate 2016 edition. Mechanical keyboard. So, another lane coming down off this Brainstorm. We do have a fetch available to us to shuffle this away. And Peter, in the meantime, if this is the third land, we could be looking at a Liliana, which Peter may try and use to just take over the game. But in the meantime, he's actually going to go with a Tarmogoyf instead, maybe trying to apply pressure. May play the land first to try and play around Dazes, which might be why Peter didn't play the Liliana this turn. Getting hit by the Daze earlier was problematic. WD-40 the keys. I don't think you can do that with a mechanical keyboard. BL Royal. You're a character, and I like it. Thank you! I assume that you're talking to me. I'm sorry if you aren't. But thank you, if so. And you know what? I'll just assume it anyway. You're great. Thank you so much for being here. You hit that follow button tonight, and I am so happy to have you here. This stream means a lot to me. This stream has very much become a project of far more than we ever expected. And having people say nice things about it means the world. Okay. I know you were being sarcastic. So, we've got a fetch from Dylan. He's going down to 16. Close enough. Tyler's close enough to my team. It's not really my team, but it's close. I'll go by that tonight. So, 3 mana here. Peter with the Liliana in hand. Non-foil Bayou? I know. How completely out of character. Okay. I have a typewriter. That might just be better. Taking a look at these ones screams I have a Gurmag Angler, but I'm not entirely sure. Thanks, PL Royal. So, a couple of lands. We might be looking at a Gurmag Angler here. He's spreading out that graveyard to take a look at it. I will see. The 5/5 is pretty nice. It would dominate the board pretty nicely. We are tapping just a singular black mana. It does strike me as what the play might be, and I believe I do see it at the back of that hand. Dylan working through some other options. If he goes for this one, he does still have access to something like Spell Pierce. Is a little bit signaled here because he did have the capability of tapping out for it. He does have another land, which means that he likely has an either A, he has got another 1-mana play to do, whether that's Brainstorm, or whether it's a Ponder that he's going to cast after, or whether it's, there's a great number of things that he could be doing, potentially even like Cabal Therapy. And these are all not even the ideal options, but he also left up a red mana, so maybe a Lightning Bolt is being represented. The other side of that coin is that he's representing another play. Now, it does lose to the Tarmogoyf currently, but we'll see if that changed with Dylan exiling a good portion of his graveyard. To get his duel's foil altered, I will let him know. Thank you, Tragic Weather. It's good to see you. I feel, and please forgive me if I'm wrong, and that you've been here even more recently. So please do forgive. But I feel like I haven't seen you for some time, and it's interesting that you show up tonight when you're actually having a little bit of a storm here in the Washington area. So, a tropical island joining this battlefield. Peter going to be sitting back, relaxing in the sun during his turn, or at least he intends to. We might see him finally drop down this Liliana. The minus ability does clear the way quite nicely if it resolves, and Dylan may just say that that's okay. A Daze from Dylan, however, is going to stop that one, and now we have got a 6/7 Tarmogoyf with that Liliana in the graveyard. We might just see him turn this one sideways and start challenging Dylan. He's going to go down to 10, only has the capability to swing back to put Peter down to 12, so may not be the ideal place to be, but the Delver of Secrets is going to act as potentially a blocker, or if he's feeling risky enough to fall to 4, to potentially have a significant hit on the backswing. I'm curious to see what happens. Looks like that is the case. We are willing to find out what we've got. The Fatal Push in Peter's hand is going to be excellent for slowing this one down. Not able to hit the Gurmag Angler, but taking down the Delver's Secrets ends up being a pretty fine and reasonable play. We're going to reveal a Ponder off of this one. Peter fine with that at the moment. Going down to 8, not a big deal when Dylan is actually dead on the backswing, but it looks like he's willing to go for this one. It does make it into a 3-turn clock as opposed to a 2-turn clock. Only falling down to 7 when he does have a 5/5 buys Peter significantly more time, but that True Name Nemesis, huge problem right now. Oh, okay. Okay, very cool. 8 power and bolt is not 12. Agreed. I had not finished the point that I was making at that point. I am aware. So Deathrite Shaman joins the field. And now the True Name Nemesis has changed the shape of this one a little bit. He can stop the Gurmag Angler. The True Name Nemesis still operating on a 3-turn clock. The Deathrite Shaman was Peter's out. Draining Dylan twice was enough to get the kill there and would have outraced it, I believe, almost exactly. But losing that this turn means that Peter is pretty light on options at this point. Dylan still not getting aggressive with the True Name? Or is this in response to the Deathrite Shaman? I don't entirely know. But I'm not sure if Peter's got enough time. Yeah, so keeping back the True Name Nemesis at the moment to stop the Tarmogoyf from attacking, and I believe Dylan might just be looking to get this done with the Deathrite Shaman. A Deathrite Shaman coming down for Peter, still looking solid if Dylan doesn't have removal. Remember that both players can gain life. Not sure how many creatures are currently in the graveyard, but I don't believe it's many, so there might be a fight over some of those resources. Might be able to take down the Deathrite Shaman out of Peter's own graveyard to be able to go up to 9 and buy himself some time. Has another Tarmogoyf. Dropping another Tarmogoyf also offers a nice opportunity. Leaving up a black mana means that he can start attacking with all 3 of these Tarmogoyfs, and it forces Dylan to start blocking with all 3 of these creatures. So he would end up losing 2 of these creatures, and I like this a lot. It forces Dylan to block with 1 of these creatures, and it looks like Dylan actually accepts that that is going to be the end of the match. If he loses the Gurmag Angler, he will not have enough to come back. Peter, with 3 Tarmogoyfs, keeps his dominant position in that game and takes game 1 against Dylan. A good way to start it off. Woo! What a way to be. Is this the same Peter with Foil Jund? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. and a bunch of Scrabble letters. You guys are all too funny. All of you, y'all are way too funny. Thank you, everybody, for always being incredible. Thank you for being incredible. I don't think that many people who operate within the Twitch realm of Magic, or potentially even in the Twitch realm, get the opportunity to interact with the incredible people that I get to, being all of you. So, thank you for being a part of this stream, because you are a hugely valuable piece of what this stream does and how it operates. This stream started off as something that allowed us to interact with all of you, and it has maintained that since. And it's been over a year and a half. And I think that all of you being such a huge part is such an iconic piece of our identity here at this stream that I don't intend for it to go away. So thank you all for making that such an impactful part of what this stream is. So Dylan's going to be on the play with this Grixis Delver going up against Shardless Bug. A fantastic value deck. Never even saw a Shardless Agent out of Peter in that matchup. So we will see what he's able to come up with as far as getting aggressive and potentially underneath this deck. If he's able to drop something like an early Deathrite Shaman or an early Delver of Secrets, then he might be able to protect it for the course of the rest of the game. Peter does have those Abrupt Decays, which are pretty powerful, but if Dylan can potentially utilize the Cabal Therapies to take out those as opposed to some of the other pieces, we might see him be able to get in that value that way. However, Baleful Strix is another card which might get in the way of that game plan. The fact that that card flies is just such a nice, cherry on top of that card, because it's able to get in the way of Delver of Secrets. Young Pyromancer looks good, though. Though Peter, I believe, has got Toxic Deluge out of the sideboard. Man, Toxic Deluge to kill a Gurmag Angler must feel bad. I suppose it's stopping one hit from it to prevent all the future ones. Is one way to look at it. Or 3 Tarmogoyfs. 3 Tarmogoyfs is a good way to go about it. Okay. Don't we all? Don't we all, Bites in Flight? I bet we do. Foil Agent into a Foil Vision into 3 more foil cards. For all the value. All of it. Gabev C. Thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's a pleasure having you here. Welcome to the Geek Fortress stream. My name's TJ. Your name's Gabev. Or I guess whatever your name actually is. Whoever you are, wherever you are. Welcome to the stream. You're more than welcome, and it's a pleasure having you here. I think that you are probably pretty correct, the Real Arsenal Munch. If Dylan can play out something early and just keep Peter from establishing a board, it is going to actually be pretty solid. Crimson Viper, how would you know? You don't even know what Legacy is. Good to know, Bites and Flight. So Peter does have a Wasteland available to him, and it looks like that's actually his intent. Peter might be trying to use the ability that he has got more lands in this deck to try and take out what resources Dylan has access to. Dylan's going to use another fetch here. We'll see what it ends up doing. But the fact that Dylan didn't end up utilizing anything with that turn play, didn't play a creature to continue applying pressure, meant that the board stayed at potential kind of the same place, except possibly Dylan was going to be out of resources. Peter drops down a Misty Rainforest. Doesn't look like he's got a whole lot to kick things off. Dylan is going to untap with a Deathrite Shaman. Plenty of lands to utilize. Could start going into some of these higher drops. Something like a Young Pyromancer into a 1-drop here. Maybe a Cabal Therapy would end up looking pretty excellent as a way to start getting this game going. I do see, I believe, a Delver of Secrets in that hand as well. We might see him try and just utilize that card to its to the best of his ability at the moment. Looks like a fetch from Dylan. Maybe a Volcanic Island? Looks like that is the case. And we are going to use that one and hold up the black and blue mana. I think we are going for it in this order so that Peter is not able to remove the Deathrat Shaman in response to keep Dylan from able to cast future spells. It's functionally the same, but using the creature to kick things off means that it isn't going to end up leaving Dylan unable to cast future spells. So casts a Ponder, gets that 1/1 elemental, and Dylan is off to the races. Looks like we've got a Misty Rainforest, which is activating, not activating the Verdant Catacombs just yet from Peter. So, potentially 1 mana play. I don't know. When's the next time you get to see your good friend Tommy Moonray? Ooh, I don't know. I'll have to see if I can get in touch with him. We've got another fetch coming on down. Is that a dinosaur? Yes, it is. I'll have to talk to him, see what we can do. We do have the Abrupt Decay available. Might just be using that to take down the Young Pyromancer. Yep. Taking it down before it gets out of control. We saw Dylan fire that one off. He's got the 1 power on the board, and that card has such a huge capacity to start escalating and taking over the course of this game, because Dylan would just continue doing the game plan that he intended, but gaining a huge amount of value per, especially when you start looking at cards like that Cabal Therapy. Looks like we do have a Delver Secret still in hand, a couple of Ponder, a Spell Pierce, a Lightning Bolt. Looks like we're going for 3 mana and dropping in the last card that was in that hand. A True Name Nemesis. Peter with the fetch down to 17. Or I'm sorry, the attack down to 17 with the 1/1 elemental. Good point, Zaris. Good point. Okay. Sounds good, Tragic Weather. I'll let him know. So Tarmogoyf joining the battlefield. It is larger than the True Name Nemesis, but not enough to actually... I mean, it can't block it, and it can't attack into it super profitably. The big thing that it might do here is just keep Dylan from attacking A with those other creatures, and B, it might tell him to keep back this True Name Nemesis to get in the way of this Tarmogoyf, but it looks like Dylan doesn't want that yet, and instead he is going to be on the chump block with this elemental game plan, so Peter's going to fall down to 14. Dylan retaining his life total at 18 so far, and sitting pretty nicely with it. Ponder coming down from Dylan, using the red-blue mana, keeping out the black-blue as well as his Deathrat Shaman. And looks like we are going to go for the shuffle, because every Ponder does shuffle. And realistically, that is just... strikes me as the more likely play when there is a singular card that you're looking for. Ponder is a great card for just finding things because it digs for deep. And when there is one singular card that you're looking for, the odds of it being in the top 3 cards of your deck are low, but it's best when it is. The nice part about that card is that for 1 mana you actually dig 4 cards deep, because if it isn't in that top 3, you get another shot and a 4th shot at it. You just don't get the option. But usually if there's one card that you're looking for, you didn't want those other 3 anyway. Cool card, awesome card. I still believe that almost all of them will shuffle. And it so far tends to stick through pretty well. I imagine that there are some decks in which it is less likely to shuffle as much. So, Delver of Secrets joining the battlefield. It's going to be another way to apply pressure. Dylan really laying out all of the pressure cards here. Something like a Toxic Deluge here would be enormously good. We have got a Brainstorm. Dig 3.95 cards deep. Okay. Because of the odds that you draw one of the same 3 cards, is I'm assuming what you're saying. More Baleful Strix are the draws here. Might just start dropping these ones down. Dylan's okay with that one. He's got a Spell Pierce in hand, which actually would also stop the Toxic Deluge. Damnation, probably. Yeah. Dang. We might actually have some Joe Cool facts now. So, a transformed insectile aberration. And Troy's command falls flat, unfortunately. Thanks for trying, though. So, we've got a brainstorm here. Dylan going to be putting 2 cards back. Does have the fetch available, as well as this Death Red Shaman without a whole lot of opposition. Peter dropped down the Ancestral Vision. Oh, goodness. So in 4 turns, that will be good. That'll be nice, but not doing a whole lot until then. Peter does have another Baleful Strix in hand. We'll look to see him going for that one next turn as well. Probably just firing off that Ancestral Vision because he had no other cards to utilize during these turns. And rather than trying to hold up mana as a bluff that would have very little value, instead go for a card that, if this game is able to grind for the next 4 turns, may eventually actually have a decent amount of utilization. Even if suspending it is not your favorite play. Dylan, post-fetch, is lining up a Wasteland, potentially, and he's going to cast a Dismember, probably. Alright, taking down the Tarmogoyf, which was a 4-5. This means that the damage can start coming in. We've got an Exile here. Lightning Bolting the Baleful Strix, and 6 damage coming in. Peter suddenly finds himself on an extremely short clock. He's down 2, 6. With the 1-1, the 3-2 in the air, and the 3-1 on the ground, which means that Peter is dead next turn unless he drew a Toxic Deluge. And remember, Dylan has been tapping very carefully to hold up a Spell Pierce in hand. I believe Dylan has now taken down this game. Early pressure, Peter stumbling somewhat, and then just unable to recover from the plethora of creatures which came down early and aggressively. So Dylan looking just fine. I do not think that Peter can come back this game, but we're going to try. It is going to be a Shardless Agent, and he is okay with this one to see what we draw into. Fatal Push coming down on that one. And a Spell Pierce on that is going to close out the game. Nice patience from Dylan, by the way. Now, the Shardless Agent is still on the battlefield, but remember, it doesn't have flying. All Dylan needs to do is attack with the Insectile Aberration and the True Name Nemesis, and then drain with the Death Red Shaman, and that will be enough. Whew. Dylan takes it down. Let's get a game 3. We have been getting some fantastic matchups on camera, and is it any surprise that a good portion, the one thing that has been consistent in these 2 amazing matchups, has been Dylan? I don't know. Coincidence is a hard thing to say. Yeah, Dan Bopes can do it. The tricky part is that, I mean, it's not even that particularly tricky, but I do not want Nightbot on this stream. MTGBot already clutters it up a decent amount, but it's still awesome and it's an incredible resource. But having 2 bots in other chats, I just don't enjoy. Anytime that both bots are responding to every command that is put in, it's just, it's honestly just weird to me. I do not want Nightbot on here. It means that every command that comes in gets 2 responses, and it's just annoying. Takes up way too much of chat when I very much and I enjoy that we utilize chat the way that we do. I think that would be something that's more effective in a chat which is not nearly as active and interactive as this one, because then you end up cluttering up the actual conversation, which is what I'm much more interested in. Ooh. Very nice, Chewy Bacon 19. Legends Miracles. I do not know. I know Joe Lissette is a big fan of the Legends version. But I am told, and I'm not an authority on it, that it is the much more difficult one to play. So if you're comfortable with it, that it absolutely could be a pretty good choice. I think that Miracles is the best deck in Legacy without much doubt. But I do not know if Legends Miracles is the right one. Personally, and truly, I just don't know. I just don't know. Okay. Then add the command, then turn off the command's function. That's only... I will consider it. I will consider it. I don't know. As much as I do love some dank Snoopy memes, I'm not sure if I need the entire chat getting populated by Joe Cool Facts. As much as Joe Cool Facts are great, and I'm a fan, I'm not sure if having it as a resource would end up detracting from the actual conversations that we have. And it's something that I'd have to consider. So, Death Threat Shaman coming down from Dylan. Peter does have a Wasteland. Looks nice on the play. Could take down that Underground Sea. Something like a Fatal Push on the Death Threat Shaman, and the Wasteland would be phenomenal. But Peter holding on to that mana for now. Your two buds are playing Red, White, Death in Texas. Nice. And the other on Mud. Mud's awesome. Better hope that you don't play against him, right? But, man, I did enjoy Mud a lot. It seems like it went away when Eldrazi came out, since it was just the better Chalice deck. But Mud, still cool. I hope all three of you do fantastically. Good luck to all of you. So, Young Pyromancer are coming down, and we are starting off with a Cabal Therapy. Already off to a good start, getting that Elemental. Not sure what Dylan is going to be naming yet. Let's see what we got. Didn't get anything off of it. Does he want to recycle to take down any of these cards? It looks like that is the case. Might take down the Hymn to Turok because I believe there's two of them in that hand. But instead going for the Toxic Deluge because that kills the entirety of the board. So, we do still have a Shardless Agent with another land in hand. We'd be able to cast that one down. Otherwise, we do have a Hymn to Turok, but no double black. We do have an Umezawa's Jite, but not able to fully utilize that without a creature. Could be just going for the Tarmogoyf in the meantime, and it looks like that mystery card is not the third land. Dylan gets to untap, does still have the Young Pyromancer available, does still have the Death Threat Shaman available. A Wasteland, ooh, now that is a brutal Wasteland. Use it to dismember on the Tarmogoyf, and now we are looking at a swing for 3, keeping up the Death Threat Shaman, which can drain for 2 right now, and suddenly Peter is on a massive step backwards, reeling on his back foot after that Wasteland eliminates his only source of colored mana with only a Wasteland, which is ineffective on this board, knocking him down to 10. And is Dylan gonna sweep up this game in the final 2? It looks like that may be the case. Huge amount of damage coming in from Dylan. Peter is in trouble, and at this point, I don't know if anything else can actually save him. The Gitaxian Probe is getting him a look into that hand. We know that there's another Toxic Deluge, but Peter is nowhere close being able to cast it. Has missed lands for every turn of this game. I believe he started out with those 2. I think this game is done. I think you're right. Peter draws in, and Dylan is gonna untap with and that was enough for it to be lethal. Now you exile the Brainstorm from Dylan. It's gonna knock Peter down to 7. Once you do that, you untap and you attack for the 5 with all of those elementals that you have in the Young Pyromancer, and then your Death Threat Shaman is able to close out the final point of damage. The Tarmogoyf can get in the way, however, so if Dylan has got a kill spell, that is going to be more than enough. It looks like we have a Brainstorm. If there is one more instant or sorcery, you do still have close to it. Hi, Dylan. All right.
He's answering a phone call.
Ah. Noble Racer, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's a pleasure having you here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a few elementals on the battlefield, and Peter is going to scoop them up. Looks like it might be time to try and find another match.
Hint, hint. I'm not sure what I'll try to find something.
Thanks, Coleman.
No problem.
Let's head on up to the booth. Dylan takes it down with the Elemental Fury. The Sultan of Shine does fall from his throne today, but of course next round he is able to ascend again, take a swing back at another fallen victor. And we will see if he can rise to the top again. Dylan moving on to the next round. What are Dylan's elemental tokens? Are those goldfish? No, they are not. They are plastic dinosaurs, just like the bunch that I have right here. Plastic dinosaurs are cool. Let's head on up to the field. I'll see you later. Sloth, thanks for the follow. Hello and welcome, Mitch, the Quaker. Thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's a pleasure having you here. To all of you who are joining, whether it's the first time, another time, the 100th time, or whatever number of streams that we've done at this point, and I'm starting to wonder what that number may be, because it is a large amount to be streaming 3 to 4 times per week for the last year and a half. But whether you're joining for the first time or the let's say 70th time. I don't really know. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining us here at the Geek Fortress stream. It's a pleasure having you here, and I cannot wait to see you again. If you haven't yet, be sure to hit that follow button and join us more in the future for our 3 streams a week. Every Wednesday at 7, Saturday at 6. We've got Modern. Modern is fun. Modern is great, and of course it's in a solid spot right now. But of course, tonight is about Legacy. And if you like Legacy, you can join us here every single Friday at 7:30 for some more of that wonderfully sweet action. Kist, thank you so much for joining. But in the meantime, we have got Legacy tonight. We are in the middle of round 2, and we're going to have more action coming at you. We're going to try and find another match out there in the field now, and we'll have 2 more rounds after this, so it's 2 with 2 to go, and we're halfway through, which is like a 2 that you turn into a 1. That didn't work out nearly as well. I got distracted and I messed it up. But pretend like I did it right. Let's just take this and turn it into this. Sure. Nailed it. Great. All right, everybody. Oh, man. The booth was filled like a month ago? What do you mean the booth? Oh, yeah. Yeah, with dinosaurs. Absolutely. Any bug delver today? Any bug delver today? We have seen some true name bugs, so I do believe that some might be in the field. I know that there's some merfolk as well. There's some death and taxes out and about, floating around. And it looks like Dylan is coming in to join me. Hi there, Dylan.
Hello.
How's it going? This is the store owner, everybody. He's a great guy, and if you do go ahead and check out GeekFortressGames.com, you will have the wonderful opportunity of having your package of items that you have ordered from the store hand-packed with love, with care, from this fantastic person.
It's true. I do all of that by hand.
And you're fantastic.
I am fantastic.
Yeah.
Not great at the whole talking thing, but I will put in a business card, and the business cards are very cool.
They are so cool.
I'll even sign it.
Your new business... You'll sign your own business card?
I'll sign it. You'll have a signed card.
Save
I don't
that.
sign a lot of things. That does mean something, because I actually don't sign a lot of things. I barely even want to sign, like, my rent checks.
No one does.
But I do it. It's the worst. We have a game 3.
Do we?
Hello.
Tell me about it.
Hello,
Who is facing the
Hello,
wall?
MTG bot. Matthew. No, I'm sorry. Matthew is facing the wall. Matthew is facing the wall.
Okay.
Versus Larry, who is on the wall.
Okay, and what's Matthew playing?
Matthew's playing Charlotte's Bug,
Oh, okay.
and Larry's playing Nick Fit.
Nice. That's always a classic.
I'm pretty sure it's Nick Fit. He's playing Cabal and
Veteran Explorer.
So it's pretty.
It's a Nick Fit shell. Everything else in that deck is pretty variable. It's like your favorite standard staples of the last 10 years.
Yeah, pretty much. So
Okay.
We're going to game 3. Source level Muppet t-shirt size and other items. Stocked to the brim. I can
Muppet-sized?
Muppet. So Muppet sized t-shirts. I don't know.
That's like 18-month size.
Oh,
Can you get one?
I will find one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you willing to say that right now on camera? For
I mean,
Melvin.
sure. Yeah, I could probably do it. The people that make our shirts she's really nice. So I'm sure if I was just like, hey, I just need one single thing.
All right. Well, let's head on down. We'll see you there.
Hey, you guys.
All
Go ahead
right.
and start.
People have been doing that lately.
Yeah, it's okay. Looks like we got a Baleful Strix, and he Fatal Pushed it. We're on turn 2.
Yep.
Price of Progress is great pretty much every night, to be totally honest. It's a good card.
Okay. So,
Yeah, I saw that. That was me. I usually do. I apologize. What card was that? I'm just curious. I want to know.
Baleful Strix coming on down for Matthew, who is down to 19. Both players
And here's
having
the
a little bit of
veterans
solidarity in that life total. We do have the Phyrexian Tower out on the battlefield, which means that Larry has a lot of mana available right
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
Sacrifices the Veteran Explorer,
Diabolic.
gets that mana.
Gets the Demonic Tutor plus 2 basic lands.
Yeah.
That's solid. And he now knows that Matthew has no more basic lands.
And Larry gets to get a lot of them.
Larry is on what? Is he at 5 mana and a free tutor? Or not free, but 5 mana and a tutor on turn 3?
Well, the lands also enter untapped, so we're looking like,
Right.
Yeah, we are looking fine right now.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good. Snap, actually, my bad. I usually do. I apologize. I usually do. But good purchase. Previous Buddha, appreciate that.
Okay.
So Baleful, he's got the 2 lands, and he's already Nick Fit. Oh, he's playing. Wait, he's playing an island, by the way. That's a curious addition because Nick Fit is normally green,
Obzone?
black, white. Yeah,
You can do whatever you want with Nick Fit.
pretty
really.
much. Yeah.
Like, you
Pretty
can go that
much.
one because Siege Rhino is just a phenomenal card.
I wonder what he's
But if
doing
you're
with
in
the blue.
blue,
Oh, I guess he did cast the Baleful Strix. So
could be going for Leovold.
Leovold. Oh, wait, hang on. Let me think.
Leovold's quite a card these
Yes,
days.
Leovold is. Oh, there's GT. There's a swinging.
GT on a Baleful Strix is just fantastic.
We are swinging.
I'll
hot.
deal 1 to you, but I will also have one of the most busted cards ever fully
Look
activated.
at Larry's hand. He's got an
Obnixilis
Obnixilis.
and 2 Eternal Witnesses. I mean, the Obnixilis is actually pretty great right now.
Bug Super Friends.
With no other cards like on the battlefield, you could just play down the Obnixilis and just
Pernicious Deed, yeah. I think
Or-
he actually. I said Nick Fit, but I apologize. I think he might be on some sort of bug thing because I think he has also got a Karn in his hand.
if you have Veteran Explorer and Cabal Therapy, it is Nick Fit, but you can do pretty much anything else.
Yeah, Nick Fit version of something.
Yeah, like Nick Fit to me is duo you run Phyrexian Tower, Veteran Explorer, and Cabal Therapy. Great,
Right.
you're Nick Fit.
Yeah,
Everything
and,
else is super modal.
And it looks like he's definitely playing a lot of Planeswalkers. And here comes a Shardless Agent. We get a
Planeswalkers are good against.
We got a Fatal Push.
miracles.
We did not cast that Fatal Push. That's bizarre.
Yeah.
We got a Brainstorm into another Brainstorm, and I think another Shardless. Nick Fit Alluring? No, I don't think it's Alluring. I think he's just playing a lot. I think the person was correct about the Super Friends.
Previous Buddha stating it did in fact arrive intact. Yeah, we are glad to hear that.
He usually does. I apologize. I usually always put the tape at the top. I probably was in a hurry. There's been a lot of online stuff lately, so my apologies.
But actually, thank you everybody. I'm going to assume that that's many of you.
Yeah.
And I will say thank you so much. Your support does help this store grow, and that is absolutely the goal. It's a good store. Dylan's good people. Any way that I can help out there, shall I try.
I hope there was not a tack in there. Tacked. She guys brings 4 Shardless. Yeah, probably. I think you might have.
It depends on the value of what's in his hand.
Yeah,
Or I guess actually at the top. Really, I think that is probably still the right play.
yeah. Because at least you know. I mean, if you don't see anything off there, you know you can cast something. Besides the Fatal Push that did absolutely nothing. So
The flip side to that is that if you're really looking for, like, say, a fetch... actually, no, I can still see a lot of good arguments there.
so he E-Wit.
I don't know.
I didn't see what he got back with the E-Wit. Was it the Veteran Explorer or the Diabolic Tutor? And in fact, yes, there is actually. I feel bad because I just beat him 2-0. Turns out a turn 2 Elish Norn and a turn 3 Elish Norn are good ways to win.
Ooh, Leyline of the Void coming in.
That's interesting.
It is good. Probably really speaks to what we may have seen in the previous game. Probably a lot of Eternal Witness.
Larry does in fact have double green. Yes, Eternal Witness. Look at this hand he's got though. He's just got That's right. This is Bug Super Friends. It's like a Nick Fit Bug Super Friends. Nissa Vital Force.
That card is so good though.
It is right now.
It's a reality smasher that can't be removed nearly as easily.
Here's
like,
+1
It
and
comes down and just makes a 5/5 hasty attacker.
Yeah, it's
like,
solid.
It's just a reality smasher without trample, but can also just generate some of the best card advantage possible, which is draw a card whenever you play a land, fetch to get 2 lands. Like,
well, especially in a deck that like thrives off of putting lands out real fast. Because I mean, you can expect that in a good hand, you could probably have her out there by like turn 3, and like a turn 3 plus with a 5/5 haste is just like, oh goodness, and then you got to kill a Planeswalker that can't be Abrupt Decayed. That like, I mean, I think it can't be bolted. I'm trying to think of any other removal spells, like, you know, what else can get rid of it? Maelstrom Pulse at sorcery speed?
Yeah.
That's about it, so.
it can be fatal pushed. Yeah, not the Nissa can't though. I mean,
Right.
you don't get an attack this turn, and it's like a fog. Turning a fatal push into a fog is fine by me.
Yeah. I like the name. I like whoever that is.
Crisp like Dylan.
You're good people. I like you. Alright, so we got the Shardless into a Deathrite. That's pretty solid.
How much
And
mana did
Tarmogoyf.
Shardless ever prepare to have? Shardless has got more cards in hand than it knows what to do, and more land than he probably knows what to do with.
5, 6. Oh, we got yeah, definitely. We got a 6/7 Goyf.
That beats the Smasher.
That's one way to stop a 5/5. To have a 6/7.
It's amazing how it works. You always try and think, like, how am I going to remove this? Why? I mean, Green's version of this is to just put out a bigger creature and force him to answer it.
Interesting now. Because now we get the Deathrite. The Deathrite can start doing some passive damage.
Mm-hmm.
And he's at 17, Matthew is.
Yes, after that,
From the 5
after
damage.
that first hit.
And now, but now you can actually just start being aggressive here, because you can gain life with Deathrite, so taking 5 but then gaining 2, 3 life per turn is not going to win a race with a 6/7.
I also might just kill the Nissa.
Yeah.
Looks like we're going to go for the regrowth.
Minus.
Pernicious Deed,
Oh,
and we have enough to sweep the board. Leaves the...
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Next turn he can sweep the whole board. He doesn't have the creature at the moment to actually go for the full wipe to hit the Leyline of the Void and the Shardless Agent.
Yeah.
But he could activate it for 2 or for 3 if needed to hit everything but.
Right. Yeah, which is weird. I mean, like, definitely he's going to save himself, 6, 7, 8 life here, so that's a pretty good dome. He'll go down to 17 from the fetch, and...
It also does leave him with that Nissa.
Yep.
And that is significant. Sweeping that board and then eliminating what remains. While he may get to keep that Leyline of the
down to
Void,
15.
you get to keep bashing away with a 5/5.
Yep.
And it looks like
And
that is
minus
the
3.
case.
It's interesting, that's for sure. And so now we, it's a good... Oh, in the Wasteland, that's a little bit...
Wasteland's
ooh.
medium plus.
And then a Leovold. Leovold will help, but Leovold's not going to stop a 5/5. I think Shardless has emptied his hand, and Nissa can reign supreme here.
Yeah,
Especially 'cause
options are low.
his hand is just planeswalkers after planeswalkers.
Yep.
Gets rid of the black source.
Interesting to
Or
go
one
for.
of the 2 black sources, it looks like.
There's the basic swamp at the bottom as well.
Yep. He hits a Cabal Therapy.
Cabal Therapy is not a great draw right now.
Nope, but
He does still have the Omnixilus too. Why not
I think that's
You
probably
could
his plan.
and you could even minus it to kill the Leovold. You don't have to. Why not just plus the Nissa, bash for 5, because if Matthew was going to block it, great. He didn't even get to draw a card.
Yeah, he's got options, that's for sure.
And then, I mean, really, you don't even have to actually kill the Leovold. Again, you've got the 5/5. Maybe I
Actually-
just plus it, draw a card, lose a life.
You know what he also has, which he didn't... I don't know if
A
Larry...
Liliana?
No, if Larry were to... Let me think here.
Because he does have the
Plus
Liliana.
1. Yeah, he can... I think he can do it. I'm not sure. If he pluses Nissa, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lands, taps the land, the Phyrexian Tower, sacks the creature that he pluses, he'd have 7 land that he can use Karn for in his hand. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 basic. The Phyrexian Tower sacks the creature that he pluses. He could actually slam down a Karn and have a Karn on an empty board, which seems pretty good
Which
to me.
does seem pretty good.
Oh man.
Good point, by the way. He cannot actually plus and draw a card because of the Leovold. totally
Oh,
spaced on
right.
that.
Yeah.
Leovold has got 2 abilities on it. Both are really good.
Played it and minused it,
Exactly.
which makes just good sense too. Yeah.
I mean, he can make up that card advantage.
Ooh,
You just love Into Turok, don't you?
I love that card. It's so classic. Anything that says at random is just it's so good. Oh, and we're doing it old school too. We're not rolling dice. Let's see
No.
what we get. What do we get? Oh God! Look at that. Him to Torak, so good.
Man, there's a rift in this super friendship.
That $1.50 card just shredded $150 worth of Planeswalkers. Fallen Empires, man. Invest now before it's too late.
Buy your boxes now.
Yes. Luckily, they're still at the 1993 price. of, like,
Notably, those are not in the graveyard.
nothing. Oh yeah, and I think
And they're fixing it.
yeah,
Okay, I was
think
going to say, because
yeah,
he's got A, Anissa, and
Yeah.
B, Eternal Witness.
That's solid.
Getting those back would not be good.
That was a
for,
good. That
Matthew.
was definitely a good. That was a good him.
That was what you wanted.
Well, I guess when your opponent has just all good cards, it's hard. I mean, he did.
You can't miss when your opponent's got a great
Yeah,
deck.
he's got all good cards. Pluses. I can't tell what that last card is. That an Eternal?
He's got an Eternal
yeah,
Witness,
Eternal
yeah.
Witness,
And
yeah.
actually does have the Veteran
That's
Explorer.
not great though. Like, actually, he probably hit the 2 best cards because his other 2 options were Eternal Witness and Cabal Therapy, which probably would have been infinitely better. So
Cabal Therapy is just not good right now. Dekelric, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's a pleasure having you here. Eternal Witness coming down. It might just... Okay.
go get a
Why
go
not?
Go get a tutor.
Why not?
Cast a tutor.
If there's another card in there, maybe an Ugin, you never know. There could be anything.
It's a 5 mana tutor, which is tough. That's one slightly worse than Diabolic Tutor, but you know what? It's legacy, man.
It's like Dark Petition, but without spell mastery.
Right, exactly. Which he doesn't have anyway. Wonder what he got. Is he a Mind Sculptor? There?
Nick Fit is one of those decks that is just gloriously cool.
Yes. Yeah, because you never know. Like, the problem with Nick Fit is it is very difficult to sideboard against because they're going to be playing 3 key cards and then a whole bunch of stuff that half the time you don't even know what the heck it is. So,
They have cards that you can expect.
yeah.
Like, and this one's even a little bit different because he hasn't played anything that we would have, like, he hasn't played
13.
the Thrag Tusk that we would expect, right?
Yeah.
Any of that stuff, but
So I think we got a swing here as you go down to 13 from a fetch, and he Fatal Pushes it. God, Fatal Push, man. Fatal Push being able to destroy lands, incredibly. If they would have made that a non-land, you know, if they would have chosen to put non-land on there, I don't think that card would ever have seen any sort of play, or not nearly as much, but killing man lands, whew, that's good stuff.
yeah.
So he's gonna plus,
I mean, it's the reason why Smother was good earlier.
yeah,
Before that is because it did have the ability to hit those creature lands.
yep. And then what was the
Green Sun is super good right now.
is it Eye Gouge that destroyed a non-Cyclops or
It's just minus
Minus-
1 to 1 creature, but if it's a Cyclops, destroy
Oh
it.
right, yeah.
Which is so good against Mutavault, but nothing else.
Yeah. The Mutavault killer.
Ah,
Plus here, yeah, I think this is going to go in the favor of,
yeah, Larry's just taking over the game at
Yeah.
this point.
he's going to swing for 5, and it looks like Matthew's going to accept the damage. We're going to have a Veteran Explorer.
But the Deathrat Shaman isn't doing a whole lot for you either. And you could Green Sun here for... Actually, the problem is that I'm kind
A
of
lot, because you
out
can
of
sack
what...
the Veteran Explorer.
Right, with the Phyrexian Tower. But the
Yeah.
problem is I don't even know what creatures are still in this deck, because we've seen so many Planeswalkers that... Does he have the Thrag Tusk? Or is that mostly just more ways to get Veteran Explorer and Deathrat Shaman? I don't actually know.
We have no idea.
I would expect him to have some giant green creatures. Like, how cool would be like in Avenger of Zendikar? How cool would that be?
I mean, like...
Why not? Let's do it.
Knowing Larry, he's definitely, he's going to...
Got some spice.
Yeah, he's going to put...
Okay. Leyline does not exile the graveyard. It just says that if a card would go into the opponent's graveyard, it goes into exile instead. It does
Yeah,
not affect
afterwards.
the cards which are already there. The reason why you normally see it being so effective at eliminating the whole graveyard is because it's normally...
On turn 0. or whatever.
exactly. It's a pre-game action normally. For Flip, Nissa would be great, actually.
Yeah, that'd be a good one, too. Well, let's see what he's... I mean, he's going to plus... What do we got here? Come on, Larry, do a Green Sun. We want to know what's...
I like Transform Nissa. I like the Origins Nissa.
Attacking for boring.
Attacking for boring.
What do we plus?
How much damage is that? I don't know. Something boring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Swing with a 5/5. So how much is it? 5? Oh. Alright, so Larry has a Green Sun, a Diabolic. So he has multiple ways
His
to go
cup
through.
runneth over.
Yeah. He's just deciding on how many ways he wants to win right now. Matthew's that pernicious deed just turned the tides.
Was a blowout.
Unfortunately, yeah. And he's just drawing lands. I don't think Shardless Bug plays many lands. Oh. I wonder if they're on turns. Oh, they are on turns. Whoops. Alright, well, this looks like it's over. I'm gonna go and do stuff. I'll be back.
Yes. Yes, Nidons. I would love to, John of the Cool, actually. I would love to. The problem is that he's normally running the store. But I actually would love to have him in the booth more often. A Fatal Push coming on down at the 5/5. It is going to be 3 damage. It is Stronghold. I was incorrect at first. And that is my bad. Okay. Volrath Stronghold, on the other hand, puts a creature card from your graveyard on top of your library, which is why we were able to see him put the Eternal Witness back on top there. Right? So, we have gotten Ob Nixilis continuing to plus up, continuing to draw those cards. We draw into a Jace of all things. We also do have the Nissa available, kicking it back to Matthew. Larry down to 10, and in such an absolutely commanding position at this point. The Death Threat Shaman joining the battlefield. We're going to untap here, and it looks like what we're going to do is, I guess, put it on over there. Okay. So, we're going to take that one down. And Matthew is probably going to die here. Yep, offers the hand. Larry takes the handshake. Larry going to take game 3. The Planeswalkers, so difficult to beat for Shardless Bug. Their way to just completely overtake the game was significant. Man. All right. A, I don't think it mattered, and B, I heard them laughing out there. My assumption is that because they're reasonably close to turns, is that he was just doing what you would do at a local game store, which is say, oh yeah, well, I'll gain 2 life, because it matters. Because I think that it still would have been also just more effective as a blocker, as opposed to gaining 2 life against all of those. So, I fully assume that he was aware of that, and was just going for trying to have, you know, a little bit of fun, as he is fully aware that he is on his deathbed. But let's head on up and get ready for round 3. I will see you all out there. Hello, and thank you for joining. My name's TJ. This is the Geek Fortress stream, which we do 3 times a week. It's a lot of fun. It's always a good time to be here. We do this stream 3 times a week, every Friday at 7:30. Just like tonight, we've got Legacy Pacific time because we're streaming out of the shop called Geek Fortress, located in Snohomish, Washington. Now, if you do want to help support this store, you can do a couple of things. A, you can hit that follow button and join us more in the future. It's always a blast. Plus, you could also subscribe. It does, you know, it helps support this stream. It gets you those cool emotes. It gets all kinds of appreciation from me and all that kind of fun stuff. Plus, you can also support the shop either by coming and visit us in person if you happen to be in the area, Snohomish, Washington, in the Pacific Northwest, or you can also go to the shop website at geekfortressgames.com and make some of those purchases that you need that we all like to do from there. It is always a pleasure having people go through that. It has been picking up a bit, and that is a huge step for a small store, and that's what this is. And of course, we are working on changing that and working on escalating the store up to the next level, and you all helping us out and helping being a part of what this store is a huge part of it, so thank you.
Do we have any requests for the next round?
Yes. I don't know what they are, though.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah,
I get it.
people like Death and Taxes, people like, I mean, if Cloud Post is in the room.
It's not.
Okay. I asked.
There's 4 Miracles decks, though.
I did ask Stone the Iceman. There's 4 miracles,
Yep.
and we haven't seen any of them.
Yeah.
How many players do we have? Are we on 5 rounds?
12 people.
Okay, so we are on 4 rounds.
Yep.
Okay.
There's no elves out here either, sorry.
If we can get Death and Taxes or Reanimated, that'd be cool.
Okay, well, Dylan's the only reanimator player.
Okay.
And I think we have 1 Death and Taxes
I
player.
believe Ian's on it.
No.
What do you want on?
Jamie's on it.
Oh! Well, anything else works for me too. So,
Okay.
I trust you. You've been nailing it on the matchups already, so I'm happy. Getting Larry on camera again would not be wrong.
Yeah, I know.
That deck was sweet.
I've been trying to get Larry on for a while.
Cool. Cool. I would love to see that one as well. I know, we asked though. Apparently people don't want miracles if possible. Did I get myself a Modern Masters 2017 booster box? I did, and I've drafted it with some friends. Didn't have anything overly valuable, but it was a fun time. Is there a Planeswalker hate card beyond Pithing Needle? You can do something like Damping Matrix. That's always good. You could also, Dreadbore, Hero's Downfall are both technically existent. Rogue decks, please. Yeah. Suppression Field is good. Damping Matrix is okay. You can stop the activated abilities that way. Killing them just before the card is able to get value is reasonable. Counter spells are good. Look at me, nailing it on that. So we'll see what we end up getting for this round 3. Let's get some of that prep going here. I'm going to take a quick moment. Everybody who is watching right now, wherever you are, whenever it is for you, take a moment, hop onto that keyboard if you haven't yet, and just do me a favor. You know, I get to be up here and I get to tell you all that I love doing this and that I'm having a great time. But how are you all doing? Let me know while I find out here the exact specifics of this matchup.
Yep, you've got the Chris mirror.
The Chris mirror.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
This does really line up with a friend of mine's theory that all people are named Chris. Like, if you don't know their name, if you say Chris, you're more likely to be right.
Oh, I would actually say the same thing with Steve, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we got? Who's
So Chris facing the wall is on Esper Deathblade.
Good start.
And the other Chris is on True Name Bug.
Okay. Nice. So this is the one that we already had on up against Saya Taquito. Hopefully I said that right. Thank you so much for that follow button. It's a pleasure to have you here. So, True Name Bug up against Esper Deathblade. I like it. That sounds fun.
I don't think you can have your life total be Stoneforge Mystic.
Probably
Sorry, TJ.
not. Probably not. I have tried in the past. Did not work.
Why would you play Stoneforge Mystic?
No, I want my life total to be
Oh, you
Stoneforge
wanted it
Mystic.
to be a 1-2?
Yeah.
No, that doesn't sound like you.
I know. I'm a ball lightning for life. Okay. So, let's head on down to the field and get ready for that sweet, sweet round 3. I'll see y'all there.
You guys are good to go.
Alright, so we are lining up here. Saying their name is John usually works too. What about, like, how
I think you might be a little biased there, John of the Cool.
about, like, Stephanie? Stephanie is a good one, too.
Stephanie's a good one.
Stephanie's a good one. Good name, too. Caitlin.
True.
Caitlin's a good one, too. Alright, so we're going to kick things off with an Underground Sea into a Deathrite Shaman from... We're going to call these by Deathblade and Bug, I think. True Name and Deathblade. So from Deathblade...
You can't even say Deathray Shaman,
Right?
because they both play Deathray Shaman.
I know. It's going to be a pretty weird way to go about this. But Deathblade dropping in a Deathrite Shaman to kick things off. Looks like Chris is actually pretty interested in keeping this off the field.
Here comes the day.
Ooh, Jen's a good one. Nice.
So, the classic Deathray Shaman with no lands. Seems to be a common theme today.
Actually, yeah, this is not the first time we've had this on camera. The no lands, though on turn 1, it's pretty reasonable. Chris is going to go with an Underground Sea into his own Deathrite Shaman, reveals a little bit of his motivation. Now, at the moment, at least, he is going to be starting off at a somewhat of a disadvantage, but having the land, the days actually might make this to where Chris is actually okay with the full exchange.
Well, looks like we're going to exile a land, possibly play a 1-drop, maybe a 2-drop.
And actually eliminating the lands from play right now does mean that Chris's Deathrite Shaman just lost a lot of value in its ability to move up in the chain of mana.
Well, we've got Stoneforge Mystic. I have to assume it's either it's probably Jite here because you're in a
If
Death Ray
you
war.
know you're up against Bug, I would much rather have a Jite. Then again,
Well, I mean,
Jite is really not that good against Leovold.
it's not, but it's very good against everything else except True Name Nemesis. So the two, I mean,
The
then
two
again,
feature
Batterskull's not very good against True Name Nemesis either. So
Yeah, neither card as incredible in this matchup as you'd want it to be. Still huge value pieces, right? So it's worth having them around. But
yeah, but you have, you have Deathray Shaman in play, so you may as well play around that card.
true. Even just killing the Death Threat Shaman once is a pretty big hit, especially since Chris hasn't played the second land yet. He does have it in hand, but as far as how I'm evaluating this board, I might be interested in taking that down and potentially trying to restrict that mana.
Although, funny enough, Chris did draw Thoughtseize, and that's pretty good at attacking Stoneforge Mystic.
Now, it seems like a good time to mention that here at Geek Fortress on our Friday nights, these are not actually sanctioned Legacy events. Our F&M format is actually draft. And so what we do is we actually do allow proxies. We talked to the Legacy community before ever starting the policy pretty heavily to see what they would like. And what we ended up choosing is that players can have any number of proxies in their deck as long as they're good enough to be recognizable to know what they are. The idea behind this is that allows more people to break into Legacy, to try out new things, to try out ideas and new decks, and even cards that are a little bit hard to find, like Chains of Mephistopheles. That's like an
Candelabra of
example.
Tawnos.
Candelabra, exactly. And the agreement then is that players use the store credit that they would win using these proxies on the cards that they are, proxying and testing out. And so,
Ooh, that's quite the hand.
as they develop that, Umezawa's Jite, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Noble Hierarch, couple of lands. What do you take?
I don't think he's going to take Hierarch. I think he's just going to take Jite.
Jite is the one that has the most ability to control the board. The Hierarch represents slightly more damage, but the Jite is the problem. Like, the damage is not the problem of that particular combat sequence, and you've got a little bit of time to answer the Jace.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jace also not very good against either Leovold or True Name Nemesis.
Absolutely true. So Chris is pretty well built to handle the Jace. That's a good point. So we've got the third lane coming down. We do no longer have the Stoneforge Mystic performing a lot of its value. Now it's a 1-2, which is kind of underwhelming. But we are having a fun little mirror match where the Noble Hierarch might be on both sides of the battlefield. We might have a Death Threat Shaman on both sides of the battlefield.
Obviously, we have different lands, and one person has a Stoneforge Mystic. And it looks like Chris did draw a relevant spell. I would be very... Oh, another Stoneforge Mystic.
WotC is fine with it if it's not a sanctioned matchup, or if it's not a sanctioned event. In the most recent thing, which even though this was like a year ago that the whole thing came out, their final statement was all of the things that they have disagreeing with using proxies are for sanctioned events.
Oh, looks like we're going to find Sword of Fire and Ice.
That's awesome. I love that
Yeah.
it's in the main deck.
Well, I mean, it's better than Batterskull.
Right
Because
now,
Batterskull not looking super hot, honestly.
no, the 2 damage is able to take down a good portion of this
Speaking
battlefield.
of 2 damage,
Come on,
Stoneforge
slam.
is going to get across the red zone.
Why not?
Or in this case, the white zone. Because it's a white creature.
Close enough. Sure, why not?
And
Why not? Okay. The draw.
Wasteland from Chris.
Wasteland is kind of medium at the moment.
Yeah.
You know about the Jace, you can prevent that, but with the Noble Hierarch on the battlefield, with the Death Threat Shaman on the battlefield, with even the land in hand, it's not doing a ton.
I mean, it forces if Chris wants to activate the Stoneforge Mystic, he's going to have to tap either the Hierarch or the Death Ray Shaman. And, well, that's not nothing either.
At the moment, not really. With Chris having another land in hand, he could just untap, activate it, and then equip it over to the other Stoneforge Mystic. And that would be his play for the turn. He'd be attacking with a 3/4 into this board that is going to... never mind.
well, I mean, if he puts the
Oh, no, it's
sword
pro
into
blue.
play, that's pro blue.
It's pro blue, so you would steal that, and then you could either kill the Death Ray Shaman or kill the Death Ray Shaman.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can...
So you're
Yeah.
going to get rid of that one, and suddenly you get a pretty significant mana advantage.
Yeah, and you have a creature that...
I may have liked holding on to the Wasteland just so that I can cast my own potential Jaces down the line through. Some
Well,
of the
you
things that
can
I
you
could
can
down the
still
line.
cast your own Jace right here.
Not through removal or through the sword connecting once or anything like that. And honestly, the Jace is pretty underwhelming, so maybe it was just
Yeah.
trying to falter him. I think there wasn't. I think the Wasteland just whatever it was doing wasn't
Well, I
gonna be
mean,
super
also
effective
you
at that
have
point.
you have the death rate standoff, so Chris isn't going to be able to actually do anything here. So the death rate goes to activate, and Chris just says, "Nah, how about not?"
Not with the tapped one. But yeah.
So it looks like we're just going to maybe he's going to cast sword.
Casting sword and activating for sword are exactly the same right
Yeah,
now.
that's
I don't
true.
think that there's a whole lot of relevance except you feign that you might have a fatal push in hand, which actually would be sweet.
I don't think Chris actually is playing Fatal Push.
But does Chris know that?
Well, I don't think either player knows that each other is not playing Fatal Push.
I guess the idea is like, if Chris doesn't do it yet, it's functionally the same from almost every perspective, but it gives slightly less information to True Name
Yeah,
or
that's
to Bug.
That's true. Oh, another Wasteland.
Classic. Trip him again. Get him.
Yeah, I think you go after the Underground Sea.
Black Mana strikes me as more relevant.
Well, when in doubt, go for the more expensive land.
Well, there's that, and actually the Noble Hierarch doesn't tap for black. So if there are worlds in which you're more likely to be able to cut off black than you are to be able to cut off green, which is produced by both of those creatures.
True. True.
It's unlikely, but if you're going to hit one of them, it's the one that has the slightly potentially more
last
relevant
card
play.
being Goyf.
It's not bad.
Yeah, with an artifact in the graveyard. That is,
We've been seeing a lot of 6/7s today, and I think we are not too far off from it at the moment.
we have a 4/5? Yeah,
Ooh,
4/5.
we've got some work to do to get this up and running. I think we're missing creatures at the moment.
Well,
Creatures
we are probably going to have a creature here in a second when Chris goes to activate, and Chris blocks.
Yep.
Chris involved in a lot of combat in
Yep.
these games.
Yep.
He's like it's like he's attacking himself.
So Deathblade likely to be attacking.
Yep.
Chris, True Name, Bug is going to have to block.
Yeah. Because otherwise you just lose one of your creatures. Now, granted, that does get your Goyf bigger.
But you're going to lose one no matter what. If you don't block with the Death Threat Shaman, you're going to take, and the Death Threat Shaman
and
dies
he draws a
regardless.
card, and then he
but it
draws
gives
a
him a
card.
card draw, and you take damage.
Yeah, there's no real
there's
point.
very little motivation to me not to block this with my Death Threat Shaman. In fact, the biggest motivation is that now you might be able to attack in with your Tarmogoyf just because at least that creature's tapped. But
That is a good point. If
True Name has Shroud.
I was gonna say yeah, that's pretty good.
True Name suddenly has Shroud.
The name mechanic looking not very good.
Even if Chris finds a way to Insurrection, still can't.
Well, actually, he can't really attack with that Stoneforge because it attacks as a 4/5, and Goyf just stands there and looks like, hey.
Well, looks pretty solid, that's true.
Yeah. So
Royal, have a good night. Thank you so much for stopping by the stream. It's a pleasure having you here.
gonna attack for 4. Gonna go to 10.
Literally kind of solid.
Literally half the life total. And Leovold, Emissary of Trust.
Their Bug is looking pretty solid here.
Yeah.
Take it, even, like that Thoughtseize felt like kind of a turning point. Getting the GT off the battlefield, and also this Tarmogoyf is not insignificant. It's also probably the other big turning point because it's holding what Chris is trying to establish at bay.
And I mean, there is also a line you could take here that involves Jace bounce Goyf attack.
But that's a lot of effort for fairly low payoff.
I mean,
Because you block with the Death Threat Shaman.
How else are you winning this game, though? Because that.
But is it worth it to play the Jace minus the Jace to have a Death Threat Shaman block, have Chris replay the Tarmogoyf? And
But then, I mean, then it
potentially attack the Jace?
unlocks your own Death Ray Shaman again.
That's true.
So, like. And this Jace isn't going to do anything.
And with the Death Threat now tapped, it strikes me as a much more relevant play because he would actually just. And he can't Brainstorm.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's
So,
Leovold in play.
with the Death Rate tapped, it actually makes a lot more sense. So I like Chris actually forcing him to kind of fight
Yeah.
over it there. It worked out nicely.
Yeah, I'm going to see an attack for 3.
I like how he used the Death Rate Shaman and then played the land
Yeah.
to reveal that he had the 4th mana.
Yeah. I
Forcing
mean,
him to choose whether or not he was interested in blocking. And I think Chris was under the impression that now that the Jace can't be played, I've got the better blocker.
yep, we're going to see. an attack, and where does where does he want to point that 2 damage?
I'm probably taking down the Deathrite Shaman.
I mean,
I think the Exalted doesn't matter a ton.
you are going to give your opponent a lot of advantage this way, because Leovold's kind of a dumb magic card.
True. Well, Leovold's a 3/3 anyway, so you can't kill it.
Well, no, it's just because Leovold's ability is...
Yeah, Leovold's great.
Is doing
Leovold's
that,
great, but
yeah.
you can't answer it now anyway, because actually
Yeah.
Chris didn't even get to draw a card off of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Which is hilarious.
I think his last card is Force of Will, which would be okay.
It looks kind of Daisy to me. And I know that Chris is running Daze. That actually, I think, is what that card is.
Well, no, Deathblade's last card is
Gotcha.
Force of Will, I believe.
Gotcha.
Which wouldn't be bad and looks like he just decided Jace isn't good. Jace isn't going to cut it.
I mean, you have the True Name Nemesis, and Chris is at 6. You can take damage all
Oh,
day
with
long.
another death rate.
But Chris is sitting in a position of just dominating the battlefield. It is on Deathblade to answer the True Name Nemesis. It's not on Bug to answer the Jace.
Yes, that's true.
So letting him fumble with that one, especially when you have the Leovold out, so the Brainstorm doesn't work. What's he going to do? Can you keep minusing to hit your Goyf when you've got chump blockers in your Death Zone? It's just, that's not how it's going to line up, and Chris is going to keep applying this fantastic amount of pressure.
That's true. Let's see, he could... Trying to figure out his outs.
You're fate sealing fate sealing a board that's already dominant.
Oh, well,
Scry
actually,
yourself.
We
but-
go minus the Goyf
Sure.
again, and then we play the Hierarch as our last card.
But then
Because
you
I
just
think
block
drew-
with Deathrite Shaman.
That's fine. Then you don't have a death rate in play, and you can use your death rate to start gaining life.
That's a reasonable play.
Yeah, now we're
And
attacking.
actually,
now
you
we're
know
attacking
what?
for 5.
Now this I'm gonna chump block with the Leovold.
You can't jump block.
Oh,
with the
you're
Leovold, 'cause it
right.
is pro
You're
blue.
right. You are right. So you do have to block with the Deathrite Shaman because it dies no matter what.
Yeah.
Keeping up the Noble as opposed to that fetch might have meant that he could block that, untap, attack for 4, but then he'd only attack for 3. He'd lose the Exalted.
Yep.
So I think this is going to be where Chris has a 2-turn clock regardless,
Yeah,
unless he ends up dropping in. I think he's giving Chris the opportunity to mess up right now.
Yeah, and this is a very burn approach to card advantage. It doesn't matter how many cards you have if you're dead.
Targets the creature he controls and he draws a True Name Nemesis.
Well, I mean,
It's a good draw.
it would be, but this death rate's going to go to town. Because now this death rate is...
Chris is down to 5, you're right.
Yeah, and like if the other True Name comes in play, it's another creature that can't block Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah.
So this other True Name's going to have to go after the Jace.
And the Jace can just hit the Noble and then clear the way.
Yeah, Jace doing its best Mistraven impression.
Never thought I'd see the old Jace triple minus be the play again.
Yeah, 'cause-
The best answers to Stony Sense are some combination of Thoughtseize, Spell Piercer, Stubborn Denial, and Aether Grid. I respectfully completely disagree.
I think the best answer to that is play a lot of creatures, play 2 Signal Pests.
I think the answer is to Aether Grid is fine, but only if they're also running Lingering Souls. Otherwise, I don't bring in anything for Stony Silence. If they have it turn 2 on the play, great. But otherwise, the only way that Thoughtseize is good is if it's in both your opening hand, Stony Silence is also in their opening hand. The odds of that are just almost irrelevant.
Yeah.
I'm much more interested in saying if you have it, you have it. Otherwise, I'm going to run all over you if that's what you intend to rely on.
Oh, and I forgot. He's also got 5 mana available for the... Fatal Pushes.
Now this is a good start.
Yes.
Draining down to 3 still problematic. Remember that there is just the Noble Hierarch as a blocker. But it does mean that Chris can either choose to drain... Deathblade can choose to drain Bug, or can go up to 8.
I think going up
Which
to
is-
8 is worse.
I agree, because it's a 2-turn clock regardless, as far as the
Yeah.
known information.
Yeah, looks like Deathblade agrees. Also, it makes that fetch really awkward.
That's a good point.
Because then the Stoneforge, or the Sword Trigger will go after,
Just
yeah,
himself.
it'll go after his face.
Yep.
Okay, gonna replay the Goyf.
Boy, that Goyf is...
Goyf's been cast a lot.
Yeah, that Goyf is basically sitting in a bounce house lately. So Chris at 6 at the moment, under a decent amount of pressure. The Tarmogoyf
The
is...
second force, well, crucially, it's a blue card.
Now remember, the Double Noble Hierarchs are actually going to change this just a little bit.
Yeah.
It is 5-6 versus 5-6 still.
True.
Because the second Goyf matched the growing of the
Yeah.
Tarmogoyf from the Jace.
Yeah, that is quite the interesting.
Deathblade may have fallen behind again.
Oof.
Brainstorms aren't going to do it.
For a multitude of reasons.
Yes, agreed.
So, I was gonna say, I don't think you get anywhere by not attacking. Then the Goyf... I guess the Goyf just blocks it.
The Goyf does just...
Yeah.
It's just a... So, the problem is you're absolutely right. You get nowhere by not attacking, but it's... your
But
better
you're
out.
getting nowhere by not blocking either.
I think Bug might be moving into the position of taking this game by the
Well-
skin of his teeth. at
Well,
the end
I
here.
mean, he's dead next turn.
I think playing this True Name might actually be a little bit overambitious.
We're gonna see a hardcast force. And looks like he didn't actually leave the days. Keep the days. And looking a little bit worse for wear there. But it doesn't matter. The second True Name would have just been overkill. And actually, if Chris can find a Jace here, we just needed some way to deal with the Tarmogoyf, and then Chris was dead.
I think he's just going to attack and try his luck.
Yep. Oh no! Wait a minute. He has a fatal push.
Or...
Actually, I mean, interesting.
Well, I think...
I mean, no, it's just because I think I would have let the second True Name resolve because I think you were dead anyway. And that
Well-
way, if you draw Jace and he has removal spell, you can force it.
I think I wouldn't have countered the True Name for the same reason that if I was on Bug, I would not have played it.
Yes,
It
exactly.
didn't matter.
Doesn't actually.
The
matter.
True Name was winning the game next turn, no matter what happened.
Yes.
A hasty Deathrat Shaman wouldn't have changed the game. There's
Yep.
nothing that Chris could do, or that the Deathblade could do to get that extra 3 life from that situation.
Yeah, exactly.
So countering that doesn't change the clock because Bug maybe, and obviously like there's a motivation. Bug had a mentality as to why.
Yeah,
playing this.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
I don't know it at the moment, but from my perspective, it wasn't.
I
shouldn't
mean,
feel bad for
it might be the classic thing of, well, this card's winning me the game, so a second one's got to be just as good as the first one.
One is good, two is better.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't disagree when it comes to a lot of things.
I mean, that's not bad.
So, in that perspective, and it does leave you the option of protecting the small outs that you did have.
Yes. Yeah.
If you draw the Jace, having the potential, and maybe he didn't have the other blue card in hand. That might
Well,
be
no,
a
there's
little
less.
bit
He
of
had 2 forces. Those were his 2 cards.
Oh, that was okay.
Because
so being able to,
he cast 1 force. He hard cast it.
yeah.
So if you leave the True Name alone, because it can't block the Stoneforge because that has sword on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's. I think that's just playing to not lose instead of playing to win.
Yes, I
So-
think that you're precisely right.
Yeah.
As a quick note, looks like Krakoler is our featured viewer of the day. Thank you so very much. I hope that I pronounced your name right. I wonder every single time, but every time that I do know, I know that every time that I see your name, I immediately remember the store Coles, and I think to myself, Coles knows. Cole's nose. No, that was Lowe's nose. Man, I've been associating your name with a catchphrase that doesn't even belong to what I'm associating you to.
Also, funny enough, I do not actually own that store. No matter how many people try to give me that to make that joke.
You own Coleman brand though, right?
That's true. I definitely own that.
Guess I should add your name to this.
Maybe. You should probably update the game count though.
Probably. Looks like Chris won.
But you see, at the same time, Chris also lost.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be, and I actually think this matchup's going to end in a draw.
Seedborn Muse rigged. Ugh, I don't know. Seedborn Muse is pretty great. I mean, I'm not an
True.
EDH player, so I'm happy to have you around.
Seedburn News, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
But have you heard about Prophet of Krufix?
Sorry, I don't play EDH anymore.
Neither does Prophet of Krufix.
Yeah, that's what I was going. Where I was going. Glad we got that joke out of the way.
Where'd you fit a set of drums in here?
You know, it's a very small drum set.
The world's tiniest drum set. Yeah, I love it. Schrodinger's Chris.
Playing just for you.
You know what? That's a good step.
I actually kind of like that.
We now do.
Yeah.
We've got a pretty acceptable substitute for Joe Cool facts. One of them being that Joe Cool taught Richard Garfield how to play Magic.
How many procs are they allowed to use? They actually can use as many procs as they want. And as you can see, one player is taking advantage of that. We saw the Jite and the Sword both proxied up. It's just because, well, some cards are hard to find. And thank you, Crimson Viper. You're awesome. And well, some cards are hard to find, and we don't really. People just like playing. It's fun.
Legacy, like the legacy players, at least around here, want more legacy players. That's what it's about. And it allows people in high school or just breaking into the format to really get a sense for what the format is able to be.
Yeah. So we've got Deathray Shaman on turn 1 getting Force of Old.
Yep.
That's a pretty close start. And then, like last game,
It's just like last time, but this
there's no
time.
days.
Yeah, Chris, Bug able to really keep its mind on this
Yeah.
one.
And
Wasteland. Do you
Well,
go
I
for the
mean,
old
actually-
turn 1 Wasteland?
I was going to say, he has, like, no action. He's got 5 lands and a Leovold.
I may have been willing to go for the Wasteland in that case.
And
And just buy some time.
I'm actually not sure. I think I probably wouldn't have. Because then you set yourself back far, too.
But if you have nothing to do anyway, I don't know. Giving yourself time to maybe redraw into something relevant, that's going to be a brutal
Thoughtseize is
Thougeize.
gonna be brutal.
What do you want to take? Is it my
Oh.
Leovold?
I mean, if I could take any card, I think I would take the Wasteland.
Well, he's taking the Leovold, so does that mean I get to draw a card?
You're targeting Leovold, right? Alright, now we're going to see Wasteland, and I think we're going to respond with Brainstorm.
Yep, hitting the blue source also. Pretty good way to go about this.
And we did... We already had a fetch, but we found another one.
Yep, also we do know what we're going to be drawing, Chris. Deathblade is locked in for the next draw step.
Yep.
So-
I mean, at this... Well, when you have an in-step Brainstorm, most of the time I like being able to basically draw 4 cards. Because that's kind of what... When you in-step Brainstorm, you're basically drawing 4 cards.
Sure.
So...
Forcing the Shaman, what would you decipher from the Bug player's hand? that
Probably
they really
that-
don't want to fall behind because they
I was
have
going
no
to say,
action.
A, there's no removal spell.
True.
And B, they're probably sitting on something, maybe a Goyf. Actually, probably not. Yeah, maybe a Goyf, but no way to accelerate it. So probably not a Death Rite of his own.
A Death Rite of his own seems reasonable, but I don't know.
Yeah, like Captain said, he needs time to get his hand to develop. Maybe rely on the top of his deck.
Sure, yeah. Noble Hire coming down from Chris. Decent draw because...
And I think we just entered a little state of deja vu because Noble Hierarch has come down for Chris as well.
Noble Wars. It's coming up. So both players at 18 after a couple of fetches. We might just start seeing
There's a
both
True Name
players
Nemesis
as-
off the top. So
Never
I mean,
mind. I think we're just going to cast a True Name Nemesis.
Well, we're gonna try and see if Chris has that blue card.
I believe he does.
Then in that case, well, let's see. Oh yeah, I guess if it. Well, I mean, I think the blue card's a Jace. But if it's a True Name Nemesis, I think you just.
I think getting rid of a True Name Nemesis is a big deal, especially when I know that this leaves Chris empty-handed. But it looks
Oh
like,
yeah, his last card's Abrupt Decay. I think you have to force this,
Oh.
unfortunately.
because it means that I
Yeah.
can hit the Noble Hierarch, and you know that Chris is in top deck mode, and that's not even necessary because you've got a Noble Hierarch too.
Well, I mean, Hierarch beats are not nothing
It's true.
because we're seeing that. We're gonna see that happen here.
But keeping Bug with nothing relevant in its hand, which it currently doesn't have, seems okay to me. And when True Name Nemesis is basically the backbone of this entire deck, it's the one thing that...
I wouldn't say it's the backbone. I'd say Death Ray Shaman's the backbone. True Name's the payoff.
Fair. That's reasonable. But Deathblade has really no way to beat.
No,
True Name
no,
Nemesis.
it really doesn't. And
It
also,
can beat everything else kind of poorly, at least.
it
Like,
kind of struggles against Leovold too.
right, but that one's at least answerable.
Yeah.
True Name just... I mean,
And I believe
Deathblade isn't really going to be casting Toxic Deluge. It's not going to be really casting
true.
Golgari Charm. So, we're just getting more of these Noble Hierarch beats back and forth.
Ooh, that's a great one.
Is that a library?
That is a Sylvan Library.
Ooh, looks like Deathblade's been doing some research, and it's probably going to end up paying off. Now, remember, everyone, when you spend some time at the library, it's just like they told you at school, it will pay off in dividends.
No, I got nothing there, never mind. I was going to make a bad joke, but I realized the joke was actually too bad for me to make.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressively poor joke making.
Yeah.
So we've got a Brainstorm and a Force Will in hand. How do you feel about brainstorming now to try and find the other blue card?
I was going to say you brainstorm now to find some action.
Well,
and we found action.
all right, looks like Bug is taking its shot at being a movie star. Is going to try and call some action and see what happens. I guess that's a director. Whatever.
Yeah.
Moving forward from that joke.
I was going to say, it feels like Chris has listened to a lot of killers because he's taking a shot at the knight.
Reaching.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, they are both playing green cards, so either one could have reach.
Ooh.
So we're going to see a fetch complete the full recall mode
Yep.
on Brainstorm, and I think... Well, let's see, Chris, your opponent has one card in hand, you just slam True Name and see if you can... See if they can't tempo you out. I mean,
what's it going to be at days? Like,
uh...
when they have one card in hand, you're not worried about Force of Will.
No.
And the True Name's what you got.
Alright, so we get a library trigger.
And
And Swords, a Daze, and their own True Name.
classic True Name fights.
Oh, well, we have
Both
the
players
Hierarch
at 15
fights.
too. So we've got Mirror Noble Hierarchs. We might end up having Mirror True Names. The Abrupt Decay looks actually pretty solid. It means that Deathblades is going to outpace the previous one.
I mean, both of them...
Well, 4 damage a turn will outpace.
What, 4 turn versus... It'll be...
It's a 5-turn clock as
5.
opposed to a 4-turn clock. So it actually
11.
means that Deathblade catches up to Bug, because Bug gets the
Yep.
first swing by having that 4 damage per turn. Granted, the Abrupt Decay isn't what happened, but I
mean,
think,
you can't play both, is the point here.
yeah. But
And
going
actually,
for one of
I
them still
think-
does make it a 5-turn clock.
I actually think Swords, you actually keep the Swords here. Because if you Swords the Hierarch and then Abrupt Decay this Deathray Shaman's coming down, then Chris, your opponent's life total literally does not change.
Yeah.
And anytime you can get an actual just remove your creature with a Swords to Plowshares, that's
Pretty good. Yeah, it ain't bad. It ain't shabby. So we are down to 11 for Esper Deathblade. Yes, it does. We've got our own hit for 4 coming in. We'll see.
Gonna go to 11.
I don't know. I like the swords here still. I think I would just sweep that board and leave him with a 3-1.
It looks like he's going to go
going
after
for
the Death Rate, and that actually doesn't change the clock up at all, because you just think in terms of fours.
Yeah.
And
The fetch actually ended up making it pretty close to parity. So we've got 4 turns, or 3 turns from Chris's side of the battle, from Deathblade's side of the battlefield.
Ooh.
Bug also looking at 3 turns right now.
So, deciding not to Abrupt Decay the Noble Hierarch's going to work out well for him, because he just drew Leovold off the top.
It is going to draw a card, but it's going to answer a card that otherwise would be a pretty
I mean-
significant problem.
I mean, guess what? You were always going to draw a card off a Leovold, if once it's in play.
Yeah. Almost always. It's like saying you're going to get some, it's like the draw Eidolon of the Great Revel.
Sure. It's...
Your odds of drawing a card are so high that the floor on this card is just absurd. The floor on this card is sitting in the balcony of your upstairs neighbor, hanging out and waiting for you to come up to the party. Like, Leovold's just great.
yeah, so this is actually an interaction we've seen a couple times. I've seen a couple times today, which is Sylvan and Leovold. Which is a very interesting interaction. But it looks like you're not gonna see it here.
So tell me a little bit about what happens.
Well, if Chris decides to say that I would like to draw 2 cards, Chris gets to draw both of them, and, well, that's it. Now, when it gets really interesting,
Wait, so he only draws...
he's only going to be able... If he says he'd like to activate Sylvan Library, and not understanding that it's actually draw cards on Sylvan, not look at 3 cards,
Don't you only look at the first one?
you would actually just draw the first one. That's it. and then I believe put it back. Because it says if you've looked at a card with Sylvan this way, you pay 4 life other than the first.
So you
Actually, no.
look at a-
You just look at a card and you just draw a card. That's it. It's just literally, I'd like to activate this. You can draw 2 cards.
Why you can draw 2 cards? It's not an Ocean Thief.
If there's a Leovold in play.
Leovold just stops him from drawing. It doesn't target anything.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I think you were on Ocean Thief in it.
Well, there was a Notion Thief in play too.
oh,
that's
before
why.
when it happened?
Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
why. There was a Notion Thief in play with all of this. That's why I was confused. I'm very tired right now. I apologize.
That's okay. So, Leovold down on the battlefield for Deathblade. And
Putting him to 7.
it's 7 to 8. And that one life total difference doesn't really matter.
No.
The
Nope.
Noble Hierarchs are making this math kind of funny. Chris, if he's able to Abrupt Decay that Noble Hierarch, the game
like-
actually switches entirely.
Gonna see a fetch, then a Fatal Push on Leovold.
Still actually fine
Draw a card, though.
for Deathblade. If Deathblade is able... Because note that his life total right now is... oh no, he's at 6, not 8. That's relevant.
Really wasn't, though. Because he's gonna end up at... it would end up at 4, and if he drew...
Well, if he was
if
at-
he drew a removal spell, that's true.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got Thoughtseize and
Inquisition.
looks like 3 bricks.
Inquisition and Thoughtseize. Both bad here.
Death Ray Shaman, not Inquisition.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I know that card's been out of Modern enough that you might confuse it, but yep.
Bug takes it down. Looks like
Yeah.
the creepy crawlies are going to keep on creeping and crawling straight to the top.
I was gonna say, that game showed you exactly why True Name Nemesis is
Good?
a powerhouse.
Yeah. It's Legacy's Edge Champion, except running more decks and a better
And
color.
a lot better.
It's better. It's more like it's in a more relevant color. It deals 3 damage instead of 2. It also doesn't. It can be run in a more wide variety of decks and takes almost no actual setup.
I was gonna say that's all of that. Plus, it doesn't have this ridiculous protection from colors thing.
Also, it doesn't actually like. Its clause is much more powerful and less confusing.
Also, you don't have to play artifacts, which is a very big deal.
Yes.
Which is a positive.
Yeah. True name. Good.
Yeah. Even when you have to name your own name because you're playing against another Chris.
Yep. Absolutely. Edge Champion is colorless, but true name is blue. And
Yeah,
that
I
is
mean you can.
hugely
I mean,
relevant.
when in doubt, remember if you can pitch it to Forceful, it's automatically better. That's Legacy in a nutshell.
It's entirely true though.
Yeah.
It is 100%.
Well,
true.
obviously it's true. It has true in the name.
See you up there in the booth. Hello and welcome for joining. I did it again. Thank you so much for being here. My name is TJ Coleman. Joining me in the booth at the moment. We are in round 3. We've got about 15 minutes left. We're going to try and find another match for you, which is why he's not here now. He's out there in the field trying to find another matchup to move on over to that feature table. But if you are just joining for the first time, be sure to hit that follow button and join us more in the future. It's a pleasure having you here, and I would look forward to having you more in the future. We do the stream 3 times a week. Currently, I also do some streaming from home, which I'm going to be getting back to shortly. I believe I just swapped out my desk, and I'm getting everything all set up from a weekend in San Antonio, which was lovely. I actually didn't mean to, and then I was like so committed to it at that point that I just had to say it. But yeah, it's a pleasure being here. Thank you for being here. And feel free to hit that sub button. You can join us more in the future. We're currently sitting at around just under 150 of those subscribers. And it does do a lot to help us run this stream and keep pushing ourselves to the next level. Currently operating on creating a lot of those future plans that we can work on. Working on getting a second computer. Working on upgrading some of our equipment. And also, keep Gurmog. Thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's a pleasure having you here. And currently looking at some possibilities. Some of you may remember that GPTs are going away, and so those are some of the more fun streams that we have. So, not to reveal too much, but to maybe just give a little bit of a teaser, if you will. We have been investigating some ways to maybe replace with those provided both for the store, for the people inside of it, and for the people in the chat like you who watch. Where are we located? We are located at a shop called Geek Fortress, which I'm guessing you've assumed at this point, located in Snohomish, Washington, in the Pacific Northwest of the U.S. If you are ever in the area, if you'd ever like to join, please do feel free to come on in, say hi. Dylan, the store owner, is a fantastic guy, and I find myself here decently often myself. So, I'd love to see you in the future, and also, if you do want to just help support this store, hey, Sonata's Rex. Thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's a pleasure having you here. But if you do want to help support this store in what it does, which is A, have a lot of fun events, B, be a sweet store that it has a phenomenally welcoming attitude, and C, host this stream. We get to be here. And in doing so, you can check out GeekFortressGames.com, which means that you can keep this store going and running and moving on. Of course, in Florida, so highly doubtful, that's okay. If you ever find yourself in the area, I would love to meet you. So, if you ever wind your way out here, otherwise, I may find myself, I guess the farthest east I'm going this year is Oklahoma City, which isn't super east. But I will be there, so if anyone will be at GP Oklahoma City, I'll be there as well. Important question, which hymn art do I like best? I kind of like the Santa Wizard. That one's fun. I'd have to look at them again. I don't have a fixed, perfect choice. But I do know that the Santa Wizard reminds me a lot of the Gandalf from the 1970s adaptations of The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings movies. When we host Legacy every single Friday at 7:30 Pacific time. It's currently 10:10 where we are now, but I also do Modern every Wednesday at 7 and every Saturday at 6. Liz Danforth. She is awesome. Sweet lady. Wonderful. People, I love that. I love that you can describe someone as awesome and sweet, because the world is filled with those people. How did I do last week anyway? Mediocre to bad, but I had a blast. We didn't do well at all. We got to lose to Mike Segrist. In fact, Eric even made it into Mike Segrist's article writing about the GP. He mentioned how one of his opponents cast a breaking entry. And Singe, thank you so much for the follow, and got a Simeon Spirit Guide off of it. Way to go, Eric. Way to carry the team. But yeah, I love that there are people in the world that can be described as awesome and sweet. And I love that you are taking a moment to give someone that credit. Man. Ooh. She did art for him? Great. The artists are amazing.
You only have game 3s left.
That is okay. I was just going to take a moment. I think that it is important to appreciate that one fact in particular, which is hugely relevant for us as commentators, but also hugely relevant to this game in particular, that I don't think... Obviously, it does get some, so I'm not going to say that it never does. But you know what? The artists are the reason this game is what it is.
Oh yeah, the artists are great.
The artists are amazing. They make art that defined this entire world, this entire game for us.
True.
Entire conversations and like alliances are formed. Friendships falter over opinions on the art of this game because it is so exquisite and so in touch with how we view this game.
We talking about Hymn to Turek?
They did talk about it, but like just the whole thing of it is that the art is as hugely appreciated as it is. I don't think that it's fully recognized just how much the art of this game. Augur Effect, thank you so much for the sub. It's amazing having you here. You're amazing. Your support means the world to us. I do appreciate that sub. But all the art, every single art piece, we define every card. I guarantee you at least 99% of you, a card comes down on the opposite side of the field, you are recognizing it by the art.
Yeah, that's how I recognize foreign cards.
Exactly, and that is the work of artists who have put their heart and their soul into creating the entire world that we exist in while we play this game.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything that we do here is entirely off of art.
I mean, there's an entire game you can play with on a couple sites where you just name a card by the art. It gets really hard on the old school because a lot of the old school arts kind of look the same. but like the new art, it's very distinct.
Yeah.
And like all the mythics feel like mythics.
And honestly, I know that a lot of people have a strong preference. I love both the new and the old art. I think they both have huge, enormous advantages, and both of them do a great job of bringing me into this world.
I got a Backdoros thing here. Art I like is better than art I don't like. It's a very controversial opinion, but it's yeah.
She submitted her art for a Gen Con art show for the 50th anniversary and was declined. That is ridiculous. I can, like... Man. Just went... Hey! Thank you. You're nice.
Also, we have 5 rounds tonight, not 4.
What?
We have 18 people, not 12.
Check it out, everybody.
Extra
We're not even
round.
close to the end. We're halfway through. We've got 7 minutes left in round 3, and
Yep.
not only do we have round 4 coming up, but that ain't even the final show. That's not even our final form. That is not even the form that you need to fill out in triplicate to move
True.
on to the next overly bureaucratic nonsense. No, that is the round 4, which will lead you straight up into the upper pantheon of players in this store in the Pacific Northwest. It is the step that you must take to ascend to the greatness that is a small Friday unsanctioned legacy event. Is there any stool higher to stand upon?
I don't believe so. At least not here.
Absolutely not. So if you're excited, I'm excited. Get ready, because not only do we have 1 extra round, we've got double extra round.
Yeah, that's like twice the amount of rounds.
Exactly. It's not
I
one more,
believe- I
it's
believe-
twice as many.
Now, someone needs to check my math on that. I'm notoriously bad at
I will not.
Yeah, I mean, it's below... it's not a multiple of 3, so TJ's out.
I'm out.
And
Shock's bad.
it's lower than 20, and it's not a bulk attack, so I can't do that, sorry.
He only does math off of the odds of hitting a particular card off of collected company.
No, my math is actually Crater F math. You have to square it.
Oh,
And 5 is not a square number.
never try to stand on a stool. You might slip and fall. Thanks, OSHA. I appreciate that nice warning. I appreciate that. That's so kind of you to say. To be honest, I don't tend to be overly accident prone, but I have a tendency to somewhat end up in precarious positions. I think it's a little bit because of my energy.
And your love of lightning bolts.
That too. And I burn my tongue at least every 2 months. Minimum. I cannot remember
But
the last time that I went 2 months without just burning my tongue to a crisp. Like, whether it's just someone hands me a black cup of coffee and I'm just like, cool! Just full gulp. Never a test gulp. Just go for it. Obliterate my tongue in every meal that I'm going to have for the next, week.
You can tell he's a red player because he's named Burn Spells and Obliterate, both red cards.
Hey, look at that. What's up, Brumundarumbus? It's good to see you, and I hope that your day is going along swimmingly. But hey, stay out of the ocean. It's stormy conditions out there. And I
True.
don't want to lose you.
Yeah, anyone in the Pacific Northwest, do not get in the ocean.
Yes, it's dangerous.
It is, in fact, dangerous to go alone. Here, take this.
Are they floaties?
Yeah, yeah.
I love floaties. I would wear them more often. No, I wouldn't. Burn my tongue that often? Food must not be very tasteful. No, my tongue's... Taste is fine. I do enjoy the taste of things. Often I burn my tongue on potatoes a lot. Like,
How do you burn your tongue on potatoes?
you put down mashed potatoes in front of me, and I've got a mouthful already all set up for this. And I will toss that in my mouth with no test. None of this little, nonsense. I'm just like, that is a potato, and I'm in. And I just toss it in, and
That's a weird way to eat mashed potatoes. You don't put
With your mouth?
You don't put gravy on that?
No, I don't want anything to distract me from the potato deliciousness that I'm
man.
about to enjoy.
First you say pineapple on pizza is horrible, then you don't put gravy on mashed potatoes? Like, what are you, un-American?
I don't think either of those things define un-American, but if that is the case, then apparently.
Man.
Never eat food. You might bite the inside of your mouth, get an infection, and die. I'm pretty sure Veggies knows what's up. I'm going to take their word for it.
True. I hadn't really thought about it that way, but with this new information, I'm going to take it to heart and just never eat food again.
I'm pretty sure Veggies works for like a corporation insurance company. Food breaks are not a good. They might bite their tongue, and that's on the job.
Although biting your tongue probably is the worst.
Oh gosh, it is.
Ugh.
It is.
That's why TJ never stops talking.
Then bite your tongue.
Bite your tongue.
Nice, good reference.
See,
Solid.
there we go. I do have my bits. They're pretty good.
It's true. Sometimes your jokes aren't abysmal. That is a potato and I'm in. That's how I feel. I don't know how much you know I love potatoes.
No, I actually... No, that's pretty true. Now all we gotta do is put potatoes on pizza. Like mashed potatoes on pizza.
Isn't that just a shepherd's pie?
Yeah, have you had shepherd's pie? It's delicious.
Yes! I had it in San Antonio. It was amazing. No, I do love shepherd's pie. It's delicious. It's basically like all the cheap fruit or vegetables that you have, potatoes and like whatever meat you have laying around.
Yeah, and then if you get really fancy, you put some like bread on top.
Yes. The fanciest of breads. Potato bread.
Potato bread.
Oh, man. You can get potato wedges on pizza here. Where are you?
Yeah, and can you express one over here overnight?
Do they deliver?
To Snohomish.
Just asking.
Yeah, for a friend.
It's me.
Yeah, that's who I'm asking for.
I would like that. I would enjoy that pizza. You've had a barbecue chicken bacon mashed potato pizza. I've had a... That's a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain that what you ate was like a week's worth of food.
It is a lot of carbs.
You basically ate someone's, like... You know how, like, sometimes I know that my mom used to do this. Mm-hmm. She used to, like, write out what she was going to have for dinner for, like, the next... so that she could, like, buy the ingredients ahead of time.
Okay, sure.
Right? It sounds like Doro just, like, saw that was like... So
put it
that's
all
what's
on
for
a
dinner
pizza.
tonight. Like, all right, so we're going to have barbecue chicken on Monday. We're going to have BLTs on Tuesday. We're going to have mashed potatoes on Thursday. and pizza on Friday. And it was like...
some barbecue chicken.
So that's Monday, huh? All right. Delicious. Yes, but not likely internationally. Rough.
The pizza would be cold. It's a good thing I actually really like cold pizza.
Oh, God. Cold pizza's the second best pizza.
I actually think that's better than warm pizza.
It's better than fresh pizza. It's not as good as sautéed pizza.
True. Yeah, I forgot about sautéed pizza.
Have you tried it?
I have.
Oh,
I actually really love sautéed pizza.
It is so good.
It's one of those. It's one of those things you just.
It's the best way you've never had pizza.
True. That is very true.
Like, I started working at the city just over a year ago, and this is where I learned about it, and it has changed my life since.
Yeah, it's very, very good. That is very true. Doro is a better chef than I am.
Doro's a much better chef than I am. Doro, come cook for me. But don't actually. That's a lot of work to do for nothing. So.
And also, that's quite the drive.
Yeah. Oh, sautéed pizza. So it's not truly sautéed, but it's the easiest way to like describe it. So what I'm going to describe to you is exactly how you do it. All you do is you turn on your stove, you put on like a pan, right? Put a pan onto the thing. As long as it's able to hold a slice. Then you take some of that cold pizza, and once it is kind of heated up decently, like medium-high kind of thing, you slap it down, crust down. Regular pizza style.
Yeah.
All right? You just let it sit on there until the crust gets a little bit crispy, a little bit darkened, a little bit golden brownish.
Yeah.
A little bit in the sense to where you can say, like, has this been on something warm? Yes, it has. I can tell from the physical evidence aside from the heat. That's what you're looking
Yeah,
for.
if the cheese bubbles, it's too much.
Then, you full pancake it. You flip it. You flop it. It goes toppings down. That's right. No risk, no reward. You toppings down straight up, down on this pan. And how long do you let it sit there for? Not long. This is a pretty quick process because you just let it sit, you let it simmer, you let the heat sear the flavor of this. You let it take that cheese and just lock it in, just to the point to where once that cheese grease starts doing its own little thing, because it was a dry pan, right? You didn't. Just gets a little bit to where like once it can wiggle a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
It's
like you're cooking a grilled cheese sandwich.
It is similar to that, except I actually do put cheese on the outside of my grilled cheese sandwich.
That's because you're a weirdo.
No, it's so tasty. But basically you just do that until it's able to wiggle just a little bit. And then
you're done.
You flip a flop it right back onto that plate and you dive right back in to that slice of pizza. It's better than fresh.
We're heading into round 4.
What?
Oh.
Great. Round 4 coming on up. Thanks for sitting with us through Pizza Talk. Here at Geek Fortress. Hopefully you enjoyed that little bit of filler. Okay. TJ Bonafide Weirdo. Are we just now figuring this out? I'm actually asking.
That's pretty good.
Grilled cheese is delicious. I might make some right when I get home tonight. I think my intent is to do some laundry tonight. That's kind of my game plan. But thank you for sitting through that conversation. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Hopefully we had a little bit of fun conversation. I think that having the ability and the to go a little bit off topic in the middle is kind of nice. Nick Fit again on camera. I'll mention it. As a note, Larry is requested for future rooms.
Well, it's a good thing I got him right here.
Woo! Look at you. So you ask. So
Ask and you shall receive.
you receive. We've got Grixis Delver
Yep.
lining up against on the field against. We're gonna call it Nick Fit Walkers.
I know he likes to call it veteran walkers.
It's kind of a cool name.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call it Nick Fit Walkers. I can call it the problem is that we call it Veteran Walkers. People are gonna say what's Veteran Walkers, but if we call it Nick Fit Super Friends.
Walker Explorer? I don't know. I've been trying to come up with a better name than veteran walkers.
But
that also incorporates Nick Fit in there.
I mean, Nick Fit just describes the shell of the deck.
Yeah.
The fact that it's Super Friends is like the utilization of the absurd amount of mana that you end up with.
It's true. I mean, there's some spicy cards in there.
I actually also love Diet Coke, so I'm glad that you said that. Again, probably one of the things that Colin's going to say that I'm weird for.
No, I can appreciate Diet Coke.
Now I'm a bona fide weirdo thanks to you.
Well, hey, that's better than being a not bona fide weirdo. Trust me, I know. I'm not. I am unverified.
See you down there. It's Whoa, and we've got a Gitaxian Probe taking a look at 2 lands. Jace, Veteran Explorer, couple of Cabal Therapies,
Well, we
and
do have the Therapy Veteran Explorer combo.
exactly, plus a Green Sun Zenith to find a Deathrite Shaman or another Veteran Explorer. Potentially even the Flipness if we need to.
Or we can try to find Eternal Witness to get back one of our things that's probably going to get Thoughtseize here.
Sounds pretty fun to me. We're going to go down to 18 for that. We did pay the 2 life for that Gitaxian Probe.
Oh, wow, we're getting Cabal Therapied?
Rat. And immediately, turn 1, 3 Cabal Therapies hit the bin.
Man, that's not what you see very often.
On the bright side, it actually means that Larry gets this weird advantage where he can actually check this out.
Yeah, I actually think I would have named Veteran Explorer.
Check this out. You play out Veteran Explorer, sack it, take a look, nail it, grab 2 basics, then you Green Sun for another Veteran Explorer.
That's why we're getting forced.
Or now,
Okay.
let me just offer this flip side. You get Force of Will, and it does not go anything like that.
True. Also, you don't see this play very often. You Cabal Therapy, you name Cabal Therapy, and then you force the turn 1 play.
What a world that we live in.
Yeah.
Dylan's such a mad lad.
And it looks like we drew another Veteran Explorer off the top.
Classy.
Well. That does explain why we named Cabal Therapy Cabal Therapy, though.
Does strike me as reasonable. Dylan's running upwards of 0 basics in his deck.
I was gonna say lower than 0, because upwards of 0 means he's actually playing.
I actually don't think it was a bad name now that we know that the Force of Will was there.
Yeah, I think that's actually better than naming that.
He
Because
drew into another Veteran Explorer, but if that wasn't there,
I was gonna say if you drew like Nissa Vital Force, then that looks very good.
Thank you so much, Darisk. I hope I'm saying your name right, but $5.
Thank you for the donation. You are awesome. Ignore TJ's coughing fit. This is only because he's very happy.
I'm sorry. I got a little choked up. Oh man.
So got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So that's another probe out, right? I think we're sitting at 15.
Hey Dylan, did you pay 2 life for that second probe?
Oh goodness.
14?
No, I do feel better.
you.
I feel great. I do feel great. I got excited and forgot to breathe.
Welcome to TJ, everyone. Got excited, forgot to breathe.
It's a tricky process.
Breathing is very hard.
We can still green sun for a veteran explorer. That's a fun play.
And I believe we should be resolving the Cabal Therapy now.
What would you name?
At this point,
I might.
Young Pyromancer.
It'd be such a good name.
Hey, I got it. I would have hit. Because you can answer just about everything else, but Young Pyromancer is...
Young Pyromancer fights planeswalkers reasonably well compared to everything else because it's able to go so wide.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter since I think we're just going to see the Zenith here. And we're going to hit the Pyromancer anyway.
Probably. The bright side here is that it puts Larry in pseudo top deck mode.
You have a Jason. You're going to have a Jace.
That's why I said
So,
pseudo.
I mean...
Like, top deck
deck.
mode with a Jace, but not a whole lot of
And it
fetches.
looks like Larry is going to go with the Young Pyromancer instead. Or the Grimag Angler instead of the Young Pyromancer.
Part of it is that Larry does run Pernicious Steed.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'd be...
We've got a mystery card. If it is the Pernicious Steed, it makes sense.
Well, if Dylan goes... if he delves 6 for Angler and then you go Jace bounce it, he's going to have actually a pretty hard time recasting it.
I agree. That would probably be pretty solid.
So...
Boing flip.
Yeah, I guess. And it might be because Dylan has, like, no cards.
Boing
So
flip.
it might be easier for him to try to deal with...
A 2-1 when Dylan has to
Yeah.
top deck the instants or sorceries.
Yeah, that's true. And we are going to see...
Boing flip.
We are going to see the Jace incoming. Even has one for the days, and Larry's got 2 lands.
He's got the best lands.
I want to know
I
if
don't need
those...
to brainstorm yet. I might just bounce the Young Pyromancer to buy time.
No, I actually think I like Fate Sealing first. Because that...
Ooh.
Yeah, you Fate Seal yourself. Because... I think you Fate Seal yourself. I don't think
Well, I mean, if you can put an instant sorcery on the bottom, I think it was a land, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a land, so...
That's nice. How did the Veteran Explorers die? He had 2 Cabal Therapies in his graveyard, which got flashed back for their alternative casting cost of sacrificing.
Sacrifice a creature, yep.
Exactly.
So I'm going to see Brainstorm get a dude.
Neato Burrito. Dylan's going to go ahead and fire up the dinosaur machine.
So... And, well, I mean, Larry knows he has the fetch land, because he put it there.
Also, Larry has got access to 6 mana next turn.
I think we're... I mean, that's what I think I liked. Oh, yeah, see the Bolt incoming. And that is going to make that a little unfortunate.
Larry may have just fallen behind.
Yeah, that's why I think I liked Fate Sealing myself there, because...
On the bright side, he can Cabal Therapy Dylan.
True, with his no cards.
It seems like a reasonable play.
With the Stronghold on top, that is going to make...
But there's
Sounds like
very
a
few
little
creatures to
interesting.
actually get, because he only has the Veteran Explorers.
Well,
in the game.
funny enough, Veteran Explorer does kind of act as a pseudo moat when there's Young Pyromancer in play.
It stops one creature from attacking. And
Likely
it
the
dying.
Young Pyromancer.
Yeah, right. It stops the Young Pyromancer and it blocks another one because you don't really care about it dying.
So that's why it's weird. It's a very weird position that it Explorer's in when you play against it.
But would you rather put that on top or take your chances with the top deck? Or
I'd
a deck that is
actually-
loaded to the top. With
I would
pretty high
actually
value
rather
things?
get this in play because even if this dies, you're getting more lands than your opponent.
Well, you're getting lands.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's yeah. I don't know. It's a little bit tricky. Brainstorming himself was a reasonable play, but it means that your Jace goes down to 1, which doesn't strike me as particularly tragic. But it means that if Dylan did have anything in hand, that it could potentially go, by the wayside.
I mean, that line was only susceptible to literally Lightning Bolt, so...
Which would have worked anyway.
Yeah, which would have worked anyway, so...
So, I don't know.
Then again, you're not getting your full Brainstorm value out of it, and that's actually something you would like to do in this deck.
Yeah, you don't want to lock yourself up into those 2 lanes if you miss.
Yeah, so Therapy...
What you want?
I wonder if he's going to flash it back and name Therapy.
Honestly, I'm not even sure if it's worth it.
No, it's not. Like, although
I
at
might
this point,
save it for later.
at this point, therapy's not looking too hot no matter what.
No, therapy's bad on both sides of the board, but is it
So-
worth... I might be more prone to delve it away to a Gurmag Angler.
I would actually leave it in Larry's hand. That way it's not a sack outlet for something later on.
Also true.
And
Force
that
him to
is-
pay and then
Yeah.
use it to where it's not just a free sacrifice outlet.
Yep.
Yeah, that's also true.
So we've got Deathray Shaman coming into play for Dylan.
That card not bad.
Yeah, and see, this is what I mean. This is what Veteran Explorer can be. Oh, that's a pretty good draw.
Nailed it!
See, this is what I mean when I say
I think you go for it now.
Veteran Explorer acts as a 1-mana moat. Well, I mean, I don't think Grixis plays a whole lot of Stifles.
No, the big thing is that it just stops the Death Rip Shaman from getting any use whatsoever.
I mean,
The flip side is that you're able to keep Dylan from potentially casting a pre-combat creature, which doesn't really strike me as the play.
yeah, like, I think, yeah, activating it here is a little weird.
Like,
But, I mean, I guess I do kind of like doing it on my own
it means that I get to keep 2 more life than I would have.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think that there's any actual relevance because you don't want to take the damage because
Yeah.
it is a surprisingly high amount of damage. So you don't want to open yourself up to that just to then miss because Dylan won't cast anything.
True.
Because there's a Pernicious Deed on the battlefield and you're already dealing 6 damage because he's letting you because he wants to get something more.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I am personally in favor of just main phase it, take out the 2 damage. It doesn't
It's
matter
actually-
except it slightly does.
I was actually thinking about not actually activating it at all and just blocking the Young Pyromancer with the Explorer.
I don't think that's
And
particularly worth it either.
you take 3.
Putting the board back to parity though, seems okay.
I don't know. I also try to get as much value out of Deed as I possibly can.
Not bad.
So, I mean, this is why you play the deck, right? This is it has some of the best top decks in the format.
It's like the Pseudotron of Legacy, except
What?
for 12 post.
You also put a lot more work in
That's
than Tron does.
Jason
Whoa.
and Demonic Tutor, I think.
Diabolic Edict.
Or, sorry.
Diabolic Intent.
Yes.
That's what it is. Also acts as a shuffle.
Much like the Black Eyed Peas. Or, wait, is that right? No. Who's saying Party Rockers?
Oh, LMFAO.
Yeah. Every Damn Shufflin'? Is that the same song? Yeah. Yeah. Acts as an LMFAO.
So
There
yeah,
we
here
go.
comes Diabolic Intent.
Neat.
And we are going to search for a card.
What do you want? Eternal Witness doesn't look bad.
I would go get a Planeswalker of some kind.
But you already have the one in hand.
Well, I mean, you can't cast Jace this turn. That's the
Well, I was thinking of something that I could cast this turn. Ooh, what about 3-mana Nissa? If that's in the deck.
If that's in the deck, sure. And it looks like he's just going to get Eternal Witness, which is fine.
Brainstorm and
I was
Baleful
going to say,
Strix are
I'd
both
actually
fine.
get back Diabolic Intent.
Actually, that's a good point, too. That's classic chord play.
Yeah. Yeah, that is actually true. Yeah,
That's true.
You just...
I'll tutor for the Eternal Witness to get back the tutor just because
Yeah.
I'll take a free 2-1.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you. And
So, Delver of Secrets, not going to really match up well against anything that Larry can find with this Diabolic Intent.
and it means that if Larry gets into like a Veteran Explorer, then he's got a 2-1 to start swinging with. And he can just do that first to
And-
get some damage.
We are going to see... We're going to put Baleful Strix on top, on the upkeep.
Which works really well with the Diabolic Intent.
How about Jace?
That seems okay.
I hear he sculpts mines.
I think he paid for this, unfortunately.
Yeah, a little bit
I
awkwardly.
think he's very much revealing his intent as Diabolic Intent, I guess. That was a bit obvious. As opposed to something that may be a little bit more like multi-representative, like
was gonna
leaving
say-
out the... Or could he actually leave out the Baleful Strix at all?
Yeah, I believe you just tap the forest instead. And we're going to see an attack.
Actually, I don't think that he could have it.
No, because you tap the forest instead of that island, then you have Island Swamp.
But then you don't have Double Island.
No, you have an Underground Sea and a basic island.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, instead of... Well, it doesn't really
For
matter.
the Volrath Stronghold.
Yeah, for the full restaurant.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But that's just, it happens.
So that's interesting. Larry actually let the Delver flip. He fate sealed Dylan and just left the days on top.
He does have a Pernicious Deed that he can pop for 1 really effectively, though.
He can,
Or
but
you can just Omnixless and
how about
run
we play?
the table with
How about we
Planeswalkers.
play Obnixless Reignited?
I have dabbled in that before. You've also... I think he's still paying for it again in maybe a slightly suboptimal way.
Actually, at this point, it doesn't really matter.
I'm thinking more like if this got hit by a Force of Will, which again, I'm not... Oh no, he's got the Dual Restriction on the field.
So if it gets hit by Force of Will, the top card of Dylan's deck is a Force of Will.
Classy.
And we are going to see a bolt at your face. And that is going to be game. Dylan's decided to scoop it up.
Larry takes it down by... oh no, I think that deck was made for walking, and...
That's just what he does. One of these days, this deck's going to walk all over you.
Possibly. I'd have to leave the booth for it, though.
True. I mean, it's not playing... it is playing blue cards, but it's not playing any Howling Mines, so it's not going to be quite the time walk.
Nope. Should be relatively easy. Plus, I'll just put on my Magic playing boots that match my new hat. Fun fact.
You and that hat.
I bet you can guess what our newest emote is going to be. It's great.
That's where you're wrong, kiddo.
It is going to be Fort Kiddo. That hat is so cool! God, I love that hat. I'm so upset that I couldn't bring that hat back. Before memory, you're not following? I gotta say, I'm not insulted at all. I just appreciate that you're here, because you're a great person.
Yeah, it's almost like I've known you before I could remember it.
Boo. If I was a foghorn, you'd always know where you were.
I would. Well, it's better than a leghorn.
No, it's not. Foghorn Leghorn is great. Don't you tell me that a random foghorn just sitting there in the misty trying to save people's lives is better than a chicken that is hilarious. That chicken is great.
This is more animated than actual foghorn leghorn.
I say, that chicken is great. Thanks for the follow before memory. It's a great having you here. Dancing with the Stars. That's a fun.
That's not bad.
That's a good one. It's a good one. It's funny. Well, he'd have to run Lost Legacy, much like anybody who ends up on that game show.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Can we get Death in Texas next round? We can certainly attempt.
I will try.
Did it make the finals?
It did not.
I understand. I figured that you did it a little bit ago. Whew. All right. So
Fresh
we are working
off
ourselves.
those very timely foghorn leghorn jokes. Game 2.
Fun fact. Did you see yourself on Reddit getting blown out?
I did!
Thanks, Kitchen Table Magic, if you're in the chat, for linking that one, both on Reddit as well as in Twitter. That was a great one.
My favorite part about that was, are you sure they weren't playing on Fast Forward?
Oh yeah, there was one person who commented on on your twitchy hands.
Yeah.
It's like there was the energy. I'm like, nah, that's just Coleman.
No, that's just me. I just play really fast.
I liked how there was a Reddit post, and this is actually a first for us, by the way.
Yeah.
There was a Reddit post with over 50 comments, and none of them were talking about how bad the stream is.
True.
That's a new personal
Yeah.
record.
Yeah. Actually, my favorite... No, now that I think about it, my favorite part of that clip is just Eric going, "Ha! Wrecked!" Just sitting like, I can't even be that mad. That's
get
hilarious.
wrecked. And just ends right there.
That is hilarious.
Oh, goodness. For the link, if anybody wants to find the Reddit post, it was posted by Kitchen Table Magic and r/MagicTCG about a day ago. If you want to link it into chat, you're more than welcome to.
Actually, Paul is actually out here, so we were joking about that, too.
With his beautiful bolts. What's up? Oh, you'll catch
Okay,
up.
so we've got game 2 coming in here. Dylan is going to be, I assume, on the play. So
Game 2 for T.
Yeah. It's just the Magic TCG subreddit is the one you want to look at.
That the one. About a day ago.
So an ideal start for Dylan is probably just either
You getting under it with dazes.
some kind of one drop. But you see what's not a good start. Mulliganing to 6.
Yeah. Stream isn't bad. Well, A, thank you. And B, Magic subreddits are excessively toxic. I'm legitimately surprised that people didn't, talk about how bad the stream was. Because anytime that we've ever made it on there before, there have, as a link, there have been comments about just like, what? Cringe. Cringe is the word of the
Yes.
era right now.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's like, if I disagree with it, how cringy. Well, I
Yeah.
suppose. Are you trying to find it?
I'm trying to find it. Don't worry. I'm gonna try to see if I can find it.
Nice.
Uh,
Nothing against
da,
them.
da.
I still I'm still on all the Magic subreddits too. Like, they may be toxic, but it's where it's at.
I got suckered. I got suckered into something else.
That's okay. It's weird. So, Dylan, gonna kick things off. We've got this is a good start. Underground Scene to a Delver of Secrets is where you want to go for. Any idea of what the name of the post was? Bolt says GTFO to timely reinforcements or something like
I
that.
think that's what it was. Yeah. I'm trying to
Okay.
find a way to get it. Don't worry.
Hey, Panda, it's good to see ya. So, we've got a Windswept Teeth from Larry. Pedro Wilson, I'm assuming is what the name there is. I apologize if I'm off, but thank you so much for that follow button. It's a pleasure having you here. Welcome to the Geek Fortress stream. We do love having people here. If you are brand new to the stream or a veteran, be sure to toss your name into the chat and say, hey, how's it going?
Speaking of veterans, I believe you're going to see an Explorer here from Larry.
Oh, God, I'm so glad that you took that.
There it is. There's where it is, right there. Oh, apparently it's my recent anniversary.
Hooray! Thanks for the sub, buddy.
No problem.
Thanks for your support.
So the day is going to take down that veteran Explorer.
Looks like Before Memory did get the clip in there, too.
Yep, and look at that. We even have the actual clip right there. So the transformed Delver. This is looking a lot better for Dylan.
This is looking
Also,
plus, with the days backing this up. Dylan is doing exactly his game plan, which is just disrupt, disrupt, disrupt.
except without actually playing the card Disrupt.
I mean, that's fine. Disrupt's a terrible card anyway, so...
You sound like someone who's lost to Disrupt.
No. I don't think so. God. Is that card even played?
Yes, I believe Larry actually played it on stream.
That's hilarious. Alright, Larry, my bad. You know what? Just to respect that card, we'll bring it up. R. Jorgensen! Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You are awesome and great. It's a pleasure having you here. Thanks for joining. I mean, it's a cantrip mana tithe. I guess that's still medium.
It's a mana tithe for instants and sorceries only. It's crucial.
Did I get it right? Well, obrigado for joining. God, I'm so good at that.
You've had enough practice.
Right? I hope I'm still not doing it wrong.
So, Brainstorm for Dylan.
We do actually have the Phyrexian Tower on the battlefield, too.
Yeah, that would have been a very, very good
If the Veteran Explorer was still out.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, that makes so much mana.
That makes 5 mana on turn 1, as a matter of fact. Because the 1 for turn. The one that you use to play the Veteran Explorer.
Do you mean 2 for a turn?
No, I mean, it makes 2 mana, then you go get 2 basics. So that's 4 plus the 1, that's 5. I can map that.
You're not saying turn 1, you're saying in one
No,
turn.
in 1 turn.
Yes, you're right. You're totally right. Sorry.
You can make
My
5
bad.
mana in 1 turn.
My bad. Yeah, and then just play Nissa.
Yeah.
Nissa Vital Force and bash for 5 on turn 2.
Yep.
Seems pretty fun. Hooray!
Or, you know, if you're into that sort of thing, acidic slime their lands so they don't get to play.
God, Ponza would be proud.
I may have played a couple old school Nick Fit decks.
Yep. So you can check out the Reddit link there. Jump into the conversation. I think I only put one comment in there. It was someone who was saying that they were surprised I was excited. So I was like, I feel like I have to respond to that. I'm an
TJ
excited
is
kind of guy.
always excited.
It wasn't even like negative. They were just like, huh, I wonder why he was so surprised. That's not an uncommon play. It's like, because it's exciting. So, Gitaxian Probe hanging out. We've got Jace, Abrupt Decay, Pernicious Deed, Cabal Therapy, Nissa Vital Force, and a Fatal Push in hand. Notably, very little early interaction. No lands to be seen.
I was going to say, no lands and the wrong lands.
Yeah, so
Because
we've got
he has that
green mana.
He's got that Abrupt Decay that he really wants to cast.
But we've got green mana.
And we've got Colorless.
So we've got green mana as far as this deck is concerned.
So we've got Cabal Therapy. We're going to name Abrupt Decay, and suddenly Larry is probably not winning this game. That actually is... Okay, well, never mind. We drew a land.
So, I mean, suddenly Pernicious Deed is your out.
I was going to say, you can Fatal Push this.
Yes.
And most of the pressure is gone.
But Dylan, would you keep in your Forcibles against this deck? I'm not sure if I would.
I
actually
don't think so, but I would keep in Daze.
Yeah, but Daze is not effective here. So actually, I think you're right that the Fatal Push might be enough.
If Larry goes for the Deed, then, well...
The Deed is, I think, probably not the right call, though. The Push might be the right call here because you want to
looks like
save...
we're going to start with Therapy.
Well, because if there's a Gurmag Angler in hand...
True.
Like, if you Fatal Push this and then a Gurmag Angler comes down, you are out of luck. So I actually kind of like... And I'm almost a little bit thinking that... that Larry might be naming that exact card.
Looks like he did have Force. He still has Force in the deck.
Interesting.
The classic Therapy named Force.
Well, thanks for checking out the clip.
Yep, you can see how I just completely steamrolled multiple times.
Yep. Well, the nice part is that he had the exact damage in hand. He had one mountain in hand and the fetch on the battlefield. It was just like, oh man, that 6 life is gonna... Oh, never mind.
I was gonna say, I think that might actually be a little bit worse than Game 2. Because Game 2, it's just, you're dead. Nothing you can do about it.
Because he had the Scape Shift in his opening hand.
Well, no, it's because he drew the land off the top.
Yeah.
That's what killed me. Anyway, sorry, we're not going to discuss games that happened on Wednesday. Because I don't want to remember.
Fatal Push takes down Delver of Secrets. Dave's not doing a thing. Is anyone on the East Coast visiting Philly for Comic-Con this weekend? I'm not, but I'm on the West Coast.
True, me too.
But I hope that you have a blast. Do something awesome.
Yeah, Comic-Con is a very cool place.
Comic-Con, great. As Oliver 2 would say, it's lit. I wouldn't say that, however. So,
no, true. He would not say that.
Do you pop the deed for the Death Threat Shaman? I say yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Never mind. I don't pop the deed for the Death Threat Shaman.
Well, I don't think you can anymore.
Spell Pierce was such a good draw there.
Yeah, so we're going to see an activation of Death Rate. Wow, that is a lot of plays.
And not that many follows from it.
So a second Death Ray Shaman.
That is a lot. Say what you will about Reddit. They know how to get views.
Yeah, they know when things are pretty cool.
We're over 6,000 followers.
Oh,
Still,
snap.
I think we were before, but still, that's pretty exciting. Dang. Dang nabbit.
Dang nabbit.
So, lane coming down for Larry. That is a Tropical Island. Does have that Nissa Vital Force in hand. They can start casting, but two of these Death Threat Shamans, pretty problematic. Dylan's going to just start grinding the game out that way. Like, death is inevitable through these because the number of instants and sorceries on the graveyard. Dylan doesn't actually... His pressure is done.
Yeah, I think... Man, that's Spell Pierce. Oof.
Spell Pierce was brutal.
Yeah. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out how Larry wins this game with just Nissa. I don't think so. I think this
With
game...
a Nissa, you minus it on the Pernicious Deed.
Yeah, I think that's your only line. And even then, you still get dazed.
You're right, actually, so that's not the play.
So you gotta Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Do you minus it on the Summoning Circ one?
I think you might have to.
To only lose the 2 life here and not lose 4 life next
Yeah,
turn?
you go to 5.
And then hopefully you get the land, drop down a Nissa, buy it back, and then... God, that's so
then
deep.
you're still dead.
You're still pretty functionally dead at that point. I wonder how many... Maybe you just have to buy...
One.
Great Whaler, thank you so much for the sub. You're using your Twitch Prime sub. I do love that one. You get 1 per month for free, and you're using it here. I appreciate...
That's this many months right here.
Yes,
4.
I appreciate that you were willing to use that here. It means the world to me. Thank you for your continued support.
Ooh, okay. Finding a Delver of Secrets, also not bad.
No. Not bad at all.
Well, we
you
did
draw a
find the
Pernicious Deed?
land.
I might just... I mean, depending on the number of Pernicious Deeds in the deck, I may just be in the mood to brainstorm and hope.
So let's see. We do that. We go to 3. Then Dylan just doesn't play the second Death Ray Shaman.
This is
On
the
the way
perfect
back.
description of your Twitch Prime subs, by the way. That's the clip in which I described
Oh,
what
yeah,
they're like.
yeah. I forgot about that.
It's a great clip.
That's a pretty good clip. So Fatal Push going to take down that Delver of Secrets. We're going to see a unsummon
Another
again.
minus. We're still going to end up at 3.
And this is just going to get dazed out of the room, I think. Oh, no. Tell him let it resolve. Did he? No. No.
Okay.
No. Okay. So I think you probably wanted to do that in reverse, because I think if the Delver flipped, you were dead anyway.
You're pretty close.
So... Oh, okay. Or we just draw Lightning Bolt.
Neat!
So, hey,
I
look
like
at that.
Lightning Bolt. So Dylan takes game 2. Lends Jamalama into our way. Lends Jamalama our way straight up into that sweet game 3 that we do know and love. It means that we get to see more of this Nick Fit Walkers. We get to see more of this Grixis Delver that Dylan has been Jamalamming with all night long. And I am
That's good.
What?
There is a 320.
What? Oh! Is that what you're laughing at?
That's what I'm laughing at.
Why?
I don't know why that was so funny to me.
Oh, now that's a good command, Panda. Good command.
I honestly don't know why that's hilarious to me. I just look. It went from 3 and was like, oh, now he's at 20. And I was, oh, well, now he's at 320. I think that's one way to beat Grixis Delver. I don't think they can deal that much damage.
I just want to see how it trolls, though. Nice.
You spin the dial. That's where your life total lands.
Roll a d20. Roll a d100.
D100.
Yep, that's your starting life total. Would you play that format?
I think I probably would.
Well, can you play Obzon Company? Of course you would.
Yeah, I would totally do that. Come on.
And 1. Oh.
Oh,
not good.
bold.
320 no scope. Watch out, there's someone slightly to your left. I got this. I'm gonna go right. They'll never expect it. Oh, goodness
Yeah, man, I need
gracious.
sleep.
Do you?
Oh, if I was laughing that hard at a joke that wasn't even that funny.
I mean, you laugh at yours.
Oh, that's hurtful. I mean, that's just hurtful.
I know. I'm gonna keep that one in my heart.
First, everyone's asking about that clip where I just get horrifically destroyed, and then I just get horrifically destroyed again.
Clip it. So, we've got a polluted Delta from Larry to kick... I'm sorry. We've got a polluted Delta to kick things off.
Deathray Shaman
Larry.
from Dylan off probably in Underground Sea.
Deathray Shaman, great, but it does die to a fatal push.
If that's something that Larry has, it's going to be very good.
Woo! That's the one.
And we are getting a Bayou on the end step, so that would probably
It's
lead it
fatal
to
push, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe, actually, Larry was born on that bayou.
I mean, he is a big CCR fan. At least in my head, he is.
Mm-hmm. Coleman does laugh at my jokes, too. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, buddy. You're good peeps. Not the Easter kind, which are awful. But, like, the kind that are great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
Okay.
kind that you put on display and eventually become bricks, which are the foundation of our friendship.
That went to an interesting place.
Yeah, I know, but it worked out.
Yeah, I think it worked.
I had no plans on for that whole stream. I just kind of started and hoped for the best.
Yep. So,
Force of Will taking down that Green Sun Zenith. Dylan saying no to that one. It probably is going to be... I mean, if you can disable the Veteran Explorers, they're a huge piece of what this entire engine is.
yeah, especially because, I mean, actually, you can't even counter the sacrifice on the death on the Cabal therapies to get the trigger. I mean, if you have stifles, that's a different story. But stopping the Veteran Explorers from entering play is probably Dylan's best bet.
Yeah, and this deck hinges so hugely on that particular strat. Like, what is the shell of Nick Fit? It's not like a 50-card shell. It's 4 Veteran Explorer, 4 Cabal Therapy, some number of Phyrexian Tower.
And a couple of Bayous, at least.
Sure, because like you're casting your spells eventually,
Yeah.
I assume. But like that's the entire shell of Nick Fit. Everything
Yeah.
else is like, what's your favorite overcosted threats?
Now, what's your favorite old standard deck?
Functionally, sure, yeah.
Like, do you like playing with, like, Survival of the Fittest? Then play, like, Fauna Shamans.
Why not?
You like playing with Recurring Nightmares? Yeah, play that too.
Sure, why not? Like Nick Fit has just 9 cards, and then your favorite like, it's just. I mean, it's paying its dues to the history of Magic. Pernicious Deed is usually stable. It's fair, but that's only they have an exorbitant amount of mana. Like Pernicious Deed, when you can pay for 8 and take down an Ugin, is silly.
Ooh, that's some rough timing for Larry. He finally drew the therapy, and then it's gonna get just clicked away.
I mean, yeah, but getting clicked away is pretty brutal.
Yep, it's gonna go to the bottom, and let's see.
Luckily, they travel in packs.
Alright, one time Phyrexian Tower.
One time Thoughtseize rule. So you shall discard it, so you shall draw it.
Yeah, easy there, Luke. I know that that's your favorite standard deck.
He can get back some of this, though.
He can get back the Fatal Push. And then Fatal
Luke!
Push.
It's good to see you, Luke. Let's hang out sometime. Picture Tybalt. Tybalt's great.
So you can get back the Fatal Push, and Fatal Push your Explorer to get their lands.
Right. And you can just have a couple of them, because at a certain point, you go for a Chase Hansen special, which is the 1/1 beats.
That is
what's Dylan gonna do? Remove it?
I mean, cool. You just wasted removal spell on a 1/1.
You just waste a removal spell on a card that gets me to cast it on Nixilis. Like, what's he gonna do?
That's true. I have seen Chase win way more games with this deck.
With Hapless Researcher too.
Yeah.
Like, Chase is a fan of the one. Like, what is Dylan ever going to do? Removing a Veteran Explorer is the silliest thing that you could possibly do.
Yeah, unless it's a Swords, in which case it's pretty good.
Okay, that's good. but like, Dylan's not doing that.
So, looks like he got back a fetch land, which is, I mean, also fine.
It's reasonable when you're behind on lands, and that Chase looks neat.
Yeah.
Note, by the way, Larry's still winning on the scoreboard.
True, and as we all... Ooh.
Never mind. Never mind. Things have gotten bad. Larry, I'm so sorry.
Although, I mean, funny enough, again, that Veteran Explorer is acting kind of as a one-mana mode.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Larry.
So he does get to untap the Veteran Explorer.
He really needs a Cabal Therapy here.
I mean, he's not getting attacked for that much a turn.
Gurmal Gangler ain't bad.
But it just gets blocked by...
Veteran Explorer, which then taps Jace. And
yeah, I was going to say, Dylan doesn't get to untap that many lands.
yeah, the Death Threat showing not bad.
Hey Dylan, you know Winter Orbs both sides, right? Yeah, sorry.
Whoops!
Okay, I just wanted to make sure of that.
Oh, goodness. We're command happy tonight? Seems we are command happy tonight.
We do like our commands.
But it does mean that now I can get cool things like the fact that Joe Cool was chump attacked for lethal at a PTQ and won. I mean, Joe Cool facts are fun.
They are, in fact, fun. If we were doing fun or fail, Joe Cool would definitely be fun.
Yeah. I do. This is my favorite Joe Cool fact, by the way.
No, I like the jump attack for lethal. That's just
At
fun.
professional rules enforcement level, the head judge appeals to Joe Cool.
So, Larry's going to fetch. Go get a land. Because I don't think he wants to fail to find here. Would not be great. Oh, and we... Ooh, Deed is very interesting.
If he draws a land, next turn he could actually do some good work.
Yeah.
Like, you get 2 lands for your trouble, you take down the Winter Orb, you take down that, and like, while you don't take down the Vendilion Clique, which is a pretty big threat right now, you also do get an Omnixilus for your trouble, because you're going to get an absorbent amount of mana there.
An absorbent?
Yeah.
It's soaking up water, that's how much mana you have?
No, that's absorbent.
That's what you said.
I said exorbitant.
You said, I think the word you're looking for is exorbitant?
It is. But I just said the word that I spoke to, and I kind of forgot. By the way,
Yes.
while we're on the subject,
Sure.
why did we shorten the word refrigerator to what it is? Did someone just decide that the word refrigerator had too much, like,
So why is the word for abbreviation
rearator?
so long?
What?
Why is the word abbreviation so long when it means to shorten a word?
Because now you have all that saved space.
Why do you have to actually use an abbreviation for the word abbreviation when you want to write a shorthand?
It's because you have so much extra space.
That's just always bothered me, to no end.
It's for the savings. They're passing the savings on to you.
But what if...
The descriptive word.
But anyway, so it looks like Larry did find the land.
Yeah, land's good. Are we waiting? Oh, probably just gonna wait for Dylan to not
Dylan,
get to untap
yeah.
as much.
So you do it on his upkeep, I think. I mean, you do let him get another activation of Deathray Shaman. So that's not nothing. But looks like we're gonna do it now. See, I don't like doing it now
Why?
because now you get attacked by the Gurmag Angler, and now you have to block with your Eternal Witness. Because otherwise, you wouldn't actually have to do that.
To where you just block with the Veteran Explorer and then... Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you saying. Wait until post-combat.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Well, Chromatic Blast is just making that not fun at all. With all
No.
these facts and actually and interesting things
on.
being said.
That is actually really interesting, and I'm glad I know that. But at the same time, I want to live in my little world
He
of
wants to complain about things.
I like complaining about things. It's fun.
Man. Gurmag being bounced by Jace is less relevant when there's plenty of graveyard to spare, though.
Yeah, especially at post deed. And actually, I think if he does it, well, I mean, actually, next turn, if he waits a turn, he can just Ob Nixilis and kill the Gurmag Angler instead of Jace bounce it.
You could also next turn... Man, you are so close to casting both of those, which is absurd. But you just Ob Nixilis, take the one and fall down to... I mean, that's a high cost that you're paying for the luxury of falling to 3.
Yeah, and like right now,
Larry's in trouble.
yeah, that's why I think I would have waited a turn.
Because you're going down to 3 here.
Because, yeah, I think I would have waited till Dylan's post-combat step to pop the deed. You're at 2 in that case, but you don't get it. You don't sacrifice base. You functionally. Well, it's 3 ponders in a row. See if we can find the 4th one.
Dylan might be the most thoughtful person in the store.
Yeah, he is playing the 3 moons ponder, so he did find all 3 moons.
That's a good point. You believe his last card is another Explorer? That seems reasonable.
No, he's just casting a lot of cantrips.
It being another Explorer does allow him one thing that's a little bit silly.
You go Ob Nixilis, kill it, and then play an Explorer to block?
No. You play Ob Nixilis and then kill the Explorer and play a Jace.
Oh.
Kill your own creature to just get 2 Planeswalkers out. Is it a bad play? Yep.
But is it a fun play?
Yeah.
I do like killing my own creatures.
Exactly.
That's fun.
For value. Alright, we're going to fall down to 3, and we are looking for a hero.
We have, I believe, he already...
Larry's holding out for a hero till the morning light, and that light is going to shine upon the top of his deck at this turn. Oh, check this out. Oh no, he doesn't have a Voros Tower. Or Voros Stronghold. Yeah.
Ooh, so, with the Death Raid in play too, this is looking very rough.
Yep. Things don't look good for our hero in the Nick Fit Walkers.
Well, I mean, you said you were holding out for a hero, so see what we got.
Up next, this may be the hero. It's certainly the one we deserve.
That's true. It may not be the one we need right now.
You can play I think he may have just tapped wrong.
And, yeah, I think that's... Yeah. And Larry's not the type of person to come back on that.
Yep.
So...
I think leaving... Would it have gotten there? Because, like, you leave up the green mana, right?
Yeah.
You toss that up, you block the...
You go to 1.
You go to 1. Do you find an answer there? I just don't know, because the Ob Nixilis can't actually kill it.
Yeah. So you go to 1, you have, what, 6 lands? 7
the Ob
lands?
Nixilis is actually dead at that point. It can't minus, but it can't plus.
See, you have 6 lands, or 7 lands. So
There is a card in the deck.
There's also an Ugin in the deck.
There's also an Ugin in the deck, and you also just blocked to have 2 more. The Jace gets rid of it for a turn. That's true, but
Yeah.
the Deathrite Shaman still kills you at that point. So you actually need to answer both of those.
you have to bounce the Deathray Shaman.
But then you die to the Gurmag Angler because
Yeah.
you don't have another creature. So like that wasn't enough to do it.
Another creature. I don't know. It was a very weird spot.
Do you double Jace, double bounce, and hope for the best?
He's probably.
Larry would have to go pretty deep to fight back from that.
Yeah.
Is what we're trying to say.
Yeah, it was very, very rough for Larry, even if he hadn't misstepped. Because then Dylan also still has draw steps. He can still find stuff. I believe he had Young Pyromancer in his
He
team.
hadn't. I don't think he'd played a single bolt yet, and he's got 4 of them in the deck.
So, like, it is what it is. Sometimes,
Indeed.
Sometimes your cards don't line up great.
Yeah. You just didn't straighten them out. It doesn't line up.
Yeah,
We'll see out there.
sometimes they don't untap.
That's true as well.
Yeah.
Hello and thank you for joining. Steven has acquired a bouncy ball. This just in. Steven has acquired a bouncy ball and is apparently going to be terrorizing the store, or at least me, later with it. But thank you so much for joining. It's the Geek Fortress stream. My name's TJ Coleman, joining me tonight, and we're having some fun here with some sweet Legacy action, just like we do every single Friday at 7:30. If you're enjoying this stream, if you enjoy Magic, if you enjoy Modern, Legacy, the fact that we are a small local store trying to do a fun stream, and we have been doing so for the last year and a half. Hit that follow button, consider hitting that sub button, check out GeekFortressGames.com, and swing by the shop if you're in the area. Every little thing that you can do to help support this stream means the world to us. It lets us do what we do. Tell your friends about this stream. Let someone know. Spread the word about it, because everything that we can do and everything that we do is for the love of what we are doing. So thank you so much for being here. It is a pleasure having you here. We don't have the players list, but we can... Oh, is there a list for the Nick Fit Walkers? I do not at the moment. You have to quote Love is a Battlefield? It's fair. This is fair. I love the mono red. Great. I didn't even realize that was a quote. Not only is that a misquote. What nights are modern? Wednesdays at 7 and Saturdays at 6. Pacific time. It's currently 11:10 where we are. Last time I said that it was 10:10. So it's been exactly 1 hour since I last kind of gave that little spiel. Let's see here. There we go. We'll not have any of that misquoting. Can't have any of that. Okay. Nah, he said fun. Coleman likes Joe Cool. Joe Cool's great. Yeah, When Nights Are Modern, so we've got those. We've been trying out some Standard happening on Sunday. The problem is that streaming that is a little bit difficult for me to do consistently, just because of the vest is too much. Nah, the vest is great. You're in Polesville across the bay. Ooh, Zabet, I look forward to seeing you. Be sure to take a moment to say hi to me. Thank you so much, DLC224. I appreciate that. It's a pleasure having you here. This isn't a wedding? No, but, like, the vest is nice. Vest is great. Vest, great. I don't even wear a vest to weddings. I wear a suit to weddings. Full suit. Which doesn't need the vest. Man, you should see me when I wear the suit then. But no, like, I like dressing nice for the stream. I think that it's worth it to have that sense of professionalism. I think that it's worth it to show the respect to you, the viewers, for coming to join me here. We used to do this significantly more casually, and while I'm not particularly against it at all, and like my co-hosts are welcome to wear whatever they want, in general, I think that it is worth my time and my effort to show respect to you for spending your time here. If that means wearing a vest, A, I like wearing it, and B, I think that it's a nice touch. I don't know. I purposefully dress more casually for my home stream, just to try and add a slightly different feel to it, and add that separation. But so I change out of my dress shirts and ties to put on like a t-shirt for when I stream from home, which is pretty fun. It's odd. It is odd, but it's mostly just to establish a slightly different feel for it. Thanks, Celtic Griffin. I appreciate that. I don't know. I like it. I feel good. You know, when you look good, you feel good. Also, it may not be a wedding, but it's certainly a coming together of people. I mean, two people joined together on the battlefield. Is that not a relationship potentially closer than marriage? The battle between you and your opponent? I mean, what have they said about the romanticism of conflicts between two great forces historically in the past, between two great warriors? You do develop a certain level of romanticism between the relationship as they try to further understand the other's plays and move to I guess, yeah, understand and develop that relationship. Now, is this an over-explanation of something that didn't particularly need to be? Absolutely. But hey, I don't know. Kind of felt like it. Started talking, decided to see where it went, and that's where it went. So now we can just move on over from it. Deep. And, woo! Oh, nailing it. Mostly we can just move on from this subject anyway. So we are going to try and find another matchup here. We are in round 4 of 5, but remember, we are not in a 4-round stream tonight. We've got a full 5 to demonstrate for you. Be sure to stick around because we've got more coming your way. Thank you all for being here. I should be a motivational speaker. I'm not really sure if I have a whole lot to offer in that one. I do enjoy speaking. But I don't think that there's anybody who will be like, well, I guess you are a commentator for a local stream that's been partnered. Yes, come be a motivational speaker for us.
So I've got good news and bad news.
I like both of those things.
Which one do you want first?
Good news.
Well, the good news is I got Larry's list.
Okay. Normally the bad news is related. So what's...
The bad news is we don't have a 5th round because Dylan wants to go home.
Okay. So apparently we had the 18, but it was just at the beginning we were like, okay, let's all do 4 rounds. And
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's what it is.
We are, in fact, on 4 rounds. Looks like that may have been the final one. It's all topsy-turvy tonight. We'll
Yeah,
mix it up.
it's a little up in the air.
Up in the air, much like George Clooney.
If that makes me Anna Kendrick, I'm okay because Anna Kendrick's awesome.
That is reasonable. I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with being George Clooney. Every day of the week, let me go ahead and just look down a little bit and then look up. Nailed it. Did I nail it?
You nailed it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, absolutely nailed it.
I've got good news, though.
What's that?
We won't have miracles on for the final round.
Actually, I don't think Miracles would have been in the finals. I'm pretty sure Goblins would have been in the finals. Pretty sure Corbin went 4-0.
Corbin was lighting it up.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, he's definitely burning a lot of things because he's playing red. Because he's lighting it up.
Because Goblin's great.
Yeah,
Corbin?
Goblin.
Great.
Goblins is, as they say, legit.
I have one problem with Corbin.
What's that?
He thinks that a catapult is a superior piece of siege weaponry to a trebuchet.
I mean, that's clearly wrong.
That's what I said.
I mean, yeah, that's clearly wrong. But I mean, he's in high school, so
He's
yeah.
got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
But I guess we all have our flaws.
True.
And while
true.
he's a great player, plays goblins, which is sweet.
Yep.
Thinking that a catapult is a superior piece of siege technology. Just, I mean, what? It's hard to say anything other than it's wrong. Misguided. It's misguided.
Yeah, it's misguided. It's misguided.
It's completely. By the way, I really hope that they reprint Siege Gang Commander only to have new art with a trebuchet mounted on his back.
Well, when you're in a siege, right? You're
Who
not
sieges from mid-distance?
Yeah.
I would much rather throw 90 kilograms across 300 meters.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like.
Is that not just better?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you're not gonna like walk up to the front door, and knock on the door, and says, "Hey, we're sieging you."
It didn't work in Monty Python.
Exactly. They'll just like.
Then they'll just throw chickens at you.
That's chickens at best.
Worst case scenario, the cow.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you doing?
Seriously, can you imagine if that cow had been launched from a trebuchet?
Well, I don't even want to think about that.
That ditch would not have been safe.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
We have the best conversations.
I mean, it's just the truth.
Oh, I mean, yeah. There's no argument here.
Of course. Now, you're absolutely right that a catapult can be used for other military engagements.
Oh, sure.
But that's not what we're talking about here.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about actual, like, sit there for 3 months and not do anything, Siege.
Except when we were doing one thing, which is throwing any 90-kilogram item 300
meters.
Or 300 meters.
Meters, not yards.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Back to Mass Effect? Yeah, I might be doing something similar. Zach, it's good to see you. You're joining in right at the end of our stream, but it is good to see you as always. Didn't get to see you as much as I would have liked to at San Antonio, but hopefully I'll see you at the next circuit. Also, we got to do another stream soon. Something combining Tybalt and Cyclelands is what I've got in mind. Right?
I was going to say Cycle Creatures is probably better.
Cycle Creatures?
Yeah, that way you can...
You could do that too. Just Tybalt Cycles. In fact, run Bad Creatures. That way Tybalt always discards a card that you don't mind.
Ah, but you see, then you get the edge on Night Veil Spectre if anyone's playing that, because all your cards suck.
Night Veil Spectre? Sure.
You can get this 4/4 for
Way to swing with
7.
that 2/3 that does nothing else.
Yeah, that was always the joke that I played against whenever I played against Standard. Whenever I played against Night Veil Spectres. Ha! I got the edge on you. My cards all suck.
Getting mana off of that was always good though.
Oh yeah, it was always fun.
It's like that card was not shabby.
I remember I stole a Nykthos in the Mono Blue Mirror. That was pretty cool.
That's really good. That
I
is
still
really
lost
good.
that game though.
If you played crossbows and catapults as a kid, the crossbows where it at.
Crossbow was where it was at.
Was crossbows and catapults a real game?
Yes.
How?
You
Why do how do you what game compares crossbows to catapults as two equivalent items?
They're crossbows and catapults, TJ. It's in the name. They're literally comparing them.
Tell me about this game.
I mean...
Is it like one of the imaginary games of like,
Yeah.
I have a crossbow, you have a catapult?
Well, I mean, you... Crossbow. Catapult. Rubber bands. Crossbows, basically, like...
So you do like this for crossbow? And then for like, what do you do for just launch it
Just
up?
launch it up. You get the arch.
And one of you was restricted to doing the arch?
This was...
Or was it like an actual item that you had?
I played a little bit different version of this game than probably...
Being restricted to launching the rubber band up sounds awful.
I was going to say, I played a little bit different version of this game than I think people in the chat did. Because we played it sneaky.
How can you be sneaky with a catapult?
You go like you launch one up, and then if it hits them in the head, you get a point.
Can't you just crossbow him in the face and get a point?
You can, but then you have to you like whatever, TJ. I was 7 when I played this game. Okay, it made sense at the time.
That does make the modality significantly bigger. My adventure of when I was 7 is myself, my sister, and the neighbor kids, which was two of them, which were around the same age, and the other neighbors, which was 2 kids. So there was we all had this game, which I completely forget the rules of, but it came down to that it was Wasp versus Hornets. Like that was the game. That one team was Wasp and one was Hornets, and there apparently this was an epic confrontation between 2 warring worst things ever. Now, the final time that we ever played this game was we were establishing our base. Myself and my 2 other members established this stump as a base. And as we were celebrating the fact of doing apparently a beginning war cry, we were like, yes, on our thing, and immediately a foot sank into the stump. And what we had uncovered
was actual hornets.
Yes. Now, the Wasps lost that particular round. As we all immediately bolted into, like, our plan was not let's run around and avoid things. It was, everybody, we gotta run inside. It's safe in there. So we throw open the door, run inside, don't close the door, and immediately the entire house is blossoming with wasps. It's like all the adults that were watching us, because we're kids, are running around newspapers and everything that you have, like slamming the walls, devastating, like just going into full-on warfare against these wasps, as we have left the adults to handle the situation and cowered into a bedroom. It was... I don't know what the rules of the game was,
but
we lost. But we lost that round.
Yeah, blossoming with wasps. Great wordplay.
Blossoming with wasps. Yeah, I don't really get that statement. Anyway.
It's like a flower bloomed in wasps. Angry.
Well,
They're here to sting you.
So that's my memory of wasps. Not a fan.
Well, my dad is allergic to wasps. Like,
I bet he's not a fan. Too.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only memory I have of wasps are not pleasant.
So I guess that's gonna round out the night. Remember, just to be yourself.
And also, wasps are dicks. Like, just the worst.
Can we time out? Hit this guy. What are you doing?
Just wasps are the worst. I don't care when it comes to wasps. They're the worst.
Family-friendly stream. Coleman. Wasp your language.
You're gonna call me out on my jokes, and you make that one?
Of course I am. I was going to say wasp out where you're going, but you just blew that one out of the water. All right, from all of us here at Geek Fortress, remember, we stream tomorrow at 6, right? My goodness. We stream 6 p.m. tomorrow for some of that modern. Be sure to join us here, but from all of us here at Geek Fortress, my name's TJ.
I'm Coleman.
It's good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. You're amazing, be amazing. And I'm going to delay ever so slightly because I forgot to line up a host.
Well, the thing about wasps, okay?
Nope, we're moving on. Nope.
Hatred.
Wasps can be okay.
They can be okay, but they're never friends.
No, wasps can be fine.
Man.
I'm a positive guy.
No, I can't be positive about wasps. They're basically the Tron of animals.
Okay, that's kind of funny.
They are so uninteractive, but when they do, they're just killing you. They are just poking you in all the wrong places.
My goodness. How is it that I've managed to go a year and a half without saying a word? And you just line them up. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. It's great having you here. And I cannot wait to see you next time. Get that all.
Be awesome, guys.
Enjoy the next stream. We're going to host you on over.
Bye.
Peace.